where the battle's raging loud, comes a hero, standing strong and proud. Jeffrey Coleman, with DNA remade, part man, part toad, a legend now displayed. With his blast stone weapon, a nano fist in hand, he leaps through time to defend the land. Evil amphibious toads won't get their way. Terminator Toad is here to save the day. He's Terminator Toad, fighting the future, saving the past. Terminator to Toad, amphibious strength, he's built to last. With a leap and a float, evil's plans explode. He plans explode. He's the hero we need, Terminator Toad. They came to the past to rewrite the rule. Evil amphibious, so cold, so cruel. But Jeffrey's ready, his mission is clear. With amphibian skills, he'll bring the fear. He can climb, he can swim, he can see in the dark. With the heart of a toad and humanity's spark, no fight can match his courage or might. When Terminator Toad leaps into the fight, he's Terminator Toad, fighting the future, saving the past. Terminator to Toad, amphibious strength, he's built to last. With a leap and a float, evil plans explode. He's the hero we need, Terminator Toad. Through the time stream, he's on patrol, protecting history, that's his goal. With every jump, with every strike, he battles for freedom, day and night. He's Terminator Toad, fighting the future, saving the past. Terminator to Toad, amphibious strength, he's built to last. The time traveling hero, what's the stone? We stand with the brave, Terminator to Toad. Clap, boom, clap, boom, clap, boom. In an eight to Toad, in an eight to Toad.
From the future, where the battle's raging loud, comes a hero standing strong and proud. Jeffrey Coleman with DNA remade, part man, part toad, a legend now displayed. With his blasto weapon and nano fist in hand, he leaps through He's the hero we need, Terminator Toad. They came to the past to rewrite the rule. Evil amphibian skulls, Piminator to give in with amphibian strength. Evil Terminator, two codes of the heart of a toad. And humanity spark no might can match his courage on might. When Terminator Toad leaps into the fight. He's Terminator. Kid Nation, Wun-Talks. Fighting the future, saving the past. Terminator. Amphibious strength is built to last. He's Terminator. Yeah, yeah. Fighting the future, place for saving the past. Terminator Toad on every jump with every strike. He battles for freedom day and night. He's Terminator Toad. Yeah, yeah. Fighting the future, place for saving the past. Oh, hail the mighty Terminator Toad on every toad, on every jump with every strike. He battles for freedom day and night. He's Terminator Toad. Leap into action, the legends been told. Oh, hail the mighty Terminator Toad.
Oh man, let me make sure my microphone is working. Salutations, everyone. What's up, everybody? This is your boy One Gun, and here I am this morning, doing the live stream, and to sit back and talk to you guys. Now, before I start, let me tell my number one troll. you know who you are, Joe. Go ahead and get to go ahead and start your false flagging in my video now, Joe, because I'm going to be touching some subjects in this video. And the thing about it is I'm be using historical references and actual facts and stuff. So I will be talking about some stuff that will go into hopefully I won't go down a total rabbit hole with talking about Hitler today, but I will have to talk about him a little bit. And what I mean by a little bit is because there is a Kickstarter boycott that I was aware of for a while, but I didn't really care about because I didn't really think I should care about it. But because of things that have transpired over these past 4 days, I think it was wise for me to go back and look up why there is a Kickstarter boycott. You know, I had to look it up. I had to see what was the issue, problems with certain people over here in the indie space with Kickstarter. You know, so go ahead, get your fake flags on. You know, flag me. But this is all going to be like hopefully educational and opinionative. And this is my opinion on the whole indie comic scene as it is. This is just my opinion. And this is just something I've just been thinking about. So I'm just thinking about this stuff. I tried to get as much information as I could crammed down in my little brain about the issues and stuff that happened over the last couple of days. But to put it in short, Dan Fraga was on a show with a bunch of people. I don't know who these people are, but I do know who Dan Fraga is. You know, I have friends who have worked with Dan Fraga in the film industry. And I know people who work with him. I've never met Dan Fraga personally, but from the people who have worked with him and people who know him, they say he's a good guy. He's a good, kind guy. He's thoughtful and all type of shit. So, you know, I just have to take other people's word that this is a kind, thinking man, you know, and he has the ability to understand right from wrong and call people out, you know. So yeah, you know, I can probably say, you know, based on what people have said about this guy, I would have to say Dan Fraga is a pretty cool guy. Dan Fraga is one of those guys who got that opportunity that I wish I would have gotten when I was young too. You know, I mean, Robert Liefeld picked this kid up, and he's been legend ever since. But the whole thing about it is that Dan Fraga made a point over the weekend about his friends. You know, these guys they call Dan Fraga his friends, and they talked about, you know, somebody that they said something about Dan Fraga's friend, and Dan Fraga called him out on it. You know, to me, I don't care, who this person is. They call it. I don't really give a dang what the situation is, but I'm looking at the whole moral aspect of this, right? The whole thing that separate good people from stupid people and bad people is that he stood up for his friends, even going to his friends and telling them basically, what you did was wrong. They made fun of somebody that he knew and he stood up for it, and I think that was good on his part. That was good on your part, and I congratulate that, because from my experience, not all people will do that. Not all people will do the right thing when it comes to their friends. It's hard to call people friends and on this day and age, especially on internet. Because for some reason over here, people tend to do stupid shit. And I think what Dan did was cut through the stupid shit and just came out and told people, people as powerful as Ethan Van Sciver, John Malin, Shane Davis, and I don't think Ethan Van Sciver said anything about the woman, but I think it was John Malin and I think Shane Davis were the one he was calling out, and he had a right to do it, because it was my friend. I would do the same thing. If you're my friend, and if you said something, it's one thing to roast somebody, but it's one thing to just be nasty towards somebody. And I didn't believe that they were being nasty toward this woman, and he called them out, and then was mad enough to sit back and say, when I see Shane and John, I will talk to them, So what transpired was that I think Ethan had a 2-hour conversation with Dan behind the scenes, which led to let me get it out. Share screen. Comicsgate Kings, share. So it led to this conversation right here, with Dan being on the panel. Now they talk about a lot of stuff, and I'm just saying like how this happened, but Dan came on this show and he basically stuck to his guns. He really did. He did it. He really stuck to his guns about defending his friend, and then I think it went into something else, and then it came back to this. But it was something in this video which made me raise an eyebrow. Really made me raise an eyebrow. So I think I'm going to play it from here and just do some e-fapping or whatever, because this is going to be a pretty lengthy stream. And when it gets to a certain point, I'm going to go and talk about some other things about, because I really want to go into this boycott, wherever it is. It's my computer needs to be repaired. my fans in my computer is going out, and that's what the rattling sound is. It's just going to keep rattling, so don't pay that no attention, folks. It's just some background noise. So yeah, I just ordered a brand new fan. The fan costs $40 for my computer, and it's been like going off and on. Yeah, kick off, and I think it's just time to replace the fan. It's 2 fans on my radiator. I have a radiator on my computer, so it's been acting like this for a while. The rattling and stuff. It's because the bearings inside the fan are dying. And I had to go find the manufacturer of the radiator that I have in my computer and order the exact fan. So that should be here Monday. But until then, in the background, that's what the rattling noise is. It's my fan slowly dying. And I don't want to take, it's still spinning. It's just that I don't want to take it off because I don't want to compromise my cooling to my computer. This is my main computer, So anyway, it was some things said in here, and I'm not going to get into the argument about his friend or nothing, but I just want you all, I just want to just listen all the way to the point to where they start talking about Kickstarter. I think that's important. So let's go ahead and watch this.
Why do you feel the need to pick on Rini and Allie?
Okay. Oh, well. All right. So before
that's what set me off.
Jimmy,
if you really want to know, because this is what I told Ethan. I fired up my stream. I was excited that I got.
So, like I said, him and Ethan had a talk. I think they said like a 2-hour talk before they did this stream. So it's a lot of stuff. I mean, that's what I think about when you. There's a lot of stuff that was done behind the scene, and I think a lot of stuff, whatever, was settled before the stream came on, and they just basically just talking and trying to whatever put it out there to the public or whatever. But let's see what else goes on.
Got my channel back. And a bunch of people
I remember
that
you
were
asked
on my...
me how to get your channel back.
Yeah,
you
thank
DM
you, and
me.
thank you
Yeah,
for your
you
advice.
use DMs to talk to me. Yeah.
And you use DMs too, Shane.
Okay.
So you want to go all the way back? Let's go all the way back.
No, it's not that.
Of course,
if you have something to say to me, you can just
I do.
DM me, Dan. My DMs are
I
open.
have something to say to you. It's
okay.
Treat everybody in CG like gold, because they are. Our customers are gold. Our creators are gold. And when we make
our customers are. Most of these little creators can come and go if they want to. I mean, honestly, you're going to.
And that's one point I wanted to talk about, is that I think the whole thing about CG is to support people who want to make comics, you know, and that right there, what Ethan just said is not something I was expecting to hear from him about how he's saying creators can come and go, you know, and I wish he would have clarified that, because that doesn't sound like a place for creators, you know, because it's like he doesn't care, you know. Dan Fraga, well, he's telling me that Dan Fraga cares about comics. He cares about small creators. He cares about the small guys, you know. But that remark he just said just made me feel like, it's like, damn, I thought this space was for people wanting to make comics, people who love comics. But let me play that. Let me play that again, you know, because that was interesting there.
But for some reason, it's a bad look if anybody else hangs out with it. And that's what I joined CG, because I don't like people. I didn't like people. Graham Nolan's is an outlier, because
he's not. Any of these guys can go. I don't ask people. I'm not the guy who says choose sides. That's PTP. PTP goes, don't you see they're trying to destroy my business, me and Wit's business?
What we're all.
Mike Barron was on Ripperverse. He did
Ripperverse. Welcome to go. As long as they come back here to me and they're my friends too. As long as these guys come back and they're my friends too, that's cool with me. I don't care. I don't tell people what to do.
Of course, Shane's gone now, but
no, I'm here. I'm here.
Why do you feel the need to pick on Rini and Allie?
Okay. Oh well. All right. So before
that's what set me off. I mean, if you really want to know, because this is what I told Ethan, I fired up my stream. I was excited that I got my channel back. And a bunch of people
I remember you asked
me
how to get your channel back.
Yeah,
you DM me. You use DMs to talk to me. Yeah.
And you use DMs too, Shane.
Okay.
So you want to go all the way back? Let's go all the way back.
No, it's not that.
Of course,
if you have something to say to me, you can just DM me, Dan. My DMs are open.
I have something to say to you. It's treat everybody in CG like gold, because they are. Our customers are.
Okay, so you're saying let's treat everybody in CG like they're gold, and then he goes into the customer thing, and what he's talking about is what I thought CG was about. I mean, that's exactly what CG is about. CG is a movement, and the movement, they're treating everybody like gold. They're treating everybody like they're going to be respected. They're going to be listened to. They're going to be heard when it comes to CG. And it wasn't until what Ethan said made me realize maybe what I'm thinking and what the top guys over here are thinking are maybe two different things, you know. So I'm on the same page as Dan Fraga, but let's listen to Ethan again.
Are gold. Our creators are gold, and when we make
our customers are. Most of these little creators can come and go if they want to.
Yeah. So most of these creators can come and go if they want to. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I'm getting just the wrong vibes or whatever, but you know, he stopped. He's going to say something about the customers, but he stopped himself. But yeah, let's listen to some more.
I mean, honestly, you're going to cause trouble around here, and you're going to make it difficult.
If they're going to cause trouble, absolutely. But Pat wasn't a little creator. Pat was a brother. And Rini was good.
You completely, Dan. You have been hypnotized.
Do you know how many times
you've been hypnotized by him?
I've been hypnotized by him. All you have to do is go back to his old street.
I don't really know. I really don't know a lot about PTP. The only thing I know is that he made some really bad Transformers toys. They're like knockoffs of real Transformers, and people would buy these toys, and like when they pull them out the box, they break. They were packaged. I heard they were packaged. Actually, Razor Dave from BTM had one of the toys. He actually bought it out, and he actually like pulled it out. It's like the motherfucker broke on me. It's like it was a really badly made toy, very expensive, badly made toy for what they paid. They paid like a little over $200, and you get the toy, a bunch of stickers, a book. It was bad. I mean, what? it was pretty bad. I mean, that was a cash grab, if it was true. I mean, maybe it was just his toy that was broken. If I was Dave, I would have like sent him a message saying, "Listen, I got this toy from you and it broke. Can I get a replacement?" Because my definition of a toy is something that you play with until it breaks, not something that you pull out of a package and it's broken. So I heard a lot about those toys. I don't know. I didn't buy one. I didn't even know about the campaign until people started getting their stuff. But he was pretty bad. He said he spent $200 and I do believe they covered over in this. But I've actually, like I said, Razor Dave, he actually did a video where he actually pulled the toy out and he showed everybody that it wasn't that big. It wasn't that big of a figure. And when you look at it, it looks like some Decepticon. I forgot what it was. Some toy. So it wasn't that good. All right. It didn't look good. It looked like a straight up Transformers knockoff. But it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. People supported them. They gave them money, and people thought they was gonna get a product. And that's what I see with a lot of people in the indie space. People. A lot of these guys, they talk a good game, but charge you a crazy amount of prices to get their product. And once you get their product, sometimes it's not what advertised. Now, it's a bunch of creators that do put out stuff and they advertise it and you get exactly what they advertise. But a lot of people, in my opinion, who are making a fast buck over here in the indie space, I think they are the ones who are making the indie scene harder for small creators. If you're a small creator and you're doing comics and shit like that, and you want to do comics and shit like that, I think what you should do is concentrate more on your product. Concentrate on if it's something you're going to order and you're going to want, and you want to make sure what you get is going to be an investment. I think you should apply that to people who are going to buy your shit. That's what I think. If I'm going to buy something, what do I look at if I'm going to buy something? And I would look at like, what do I see in a product? What did I see in a product that's going to make me buy the next product? Longevity, playability, readability, and overall enjoyment and experience. So those are the 5 things that I want in a product. And if those are things that I want, I guarantee that's something I want to give to my customer. Because I want my customer to experience what I would like to experience if I ever got my hands on a product. But a lot of people don't think like that. They just think, let's make some shit, put it out there and make the money, and I don't think that's a good way. I don't think that's all in the essence of making comics, So let's go ahead and let's listen to what else this conversation is going.
He was a worker.
One of the worst people I've ever met.
He was a worker.
I took him out to lunch, and he said, I took him out to lunch because he came into town. Andrea said, don't bring him to here. Don't bring him to our house. So I met him somewhere midway. I sat down and had lunch with him because I thought he wanted to talk about launching his project. He wanted to badmouth John Malin. And I paid for lunch, and I paid him beers. I gave him beers. After that, I said, I'm not here to mediate your problems with John Malin, dude. That's something you're going to have to do. You want my help launching?
And what are those? That's what I'm here to do. These are the problems I'm talking about.
And then he said, buy me lunch again.
What
faggot.
problem?
He's a piece of shit, dude. I'm sorry that Dan, we're your friends. We're normal people. There's something wrong with him. And I don't see that.
Yes, I've heard that stuff about that dude too. I've heard stuff about him. I heard something about him, and I don't really know a lot about him. I just heard stuff about him. I've never verified it, but only thing when you mention this guy's name is the word Dungeoneers. I have been told what the Dungeoneers was, and I was shocked. It was funny, but this Comicsgate indie comic scene, it's so weird. It's like a boys locker room. It's like an open boys locker room. It's strange.
People don't make fun of like Rini did nothing wrong. Ali did nothing wrong.
I've never bought Shane lunch once, and he never called me a faggot that I know of. I bought PTP lunch, and he called me a faggot directly afterwards.
I told you the same thing when we got off our call.
That's my brother. It's silly to me. PG.
Silly
Dan, I know you like that. He don't know me like that. He's coming to me for help. I take time out of my day. All he wants to do every time he has anyone's attention is badmouth someone else. That's what he did to you. That's why you're wound up and angry, because
let's pull out of this. Let's pull out of this
to you, and now you're mad.
Let's get out of the granular aspects of things.
It is something. The dude only wants to sit back and badmouth somebody. Well, what type of shit is that? I mean, if I got friends, friends are going to talk about friends. But if you're just going to just talk about, if you're my friend and I got another friend, and then every time I meet with you is for you to sit back and talk shit about my friend who's not there to defend himself, I'm going to shut your ass down. I'll be like, man, dude, listen, dude, I came here to get something to eat, get something to drink, get some beers, kick back, talk about old times. I don't want to hear about no shit between you and him. All right. If you got something to say to him, you go to him. Right. Don't use me as a fucking as your fucking mouthpiece, because the shit you've been telling me, I don't repeat it to him, because that's your job, not mine. Right. I like the guy, and if you don't like him, that's on fucking you. But I'm not gonna go and be your mouthpiece. You are a man. Go and fucking deal with it. And next round of beers on me. I think that's what Ethan was basically doing. But yeah, that's what friendship is about, I guess. But like I said, if I got a friend, my friend, and that friend don't like that guy, I'm not gonna be a mouthpiece for anybody. I'm not gonna be a mouthpiece for you. I'll take what you say to me, I'll hold it, whatever, but I'm not gonna repeat it, because all it's gonna do is just make me look like a worse person for going back to him. And then he says something to me, then I pull it to you, and then I'm gonna be the one to blame if y'all two comes to fist, when it comes to putting hands on people. No, I'm not gonna do that. You take that up with that mofo, all right? You take it up with him. Don't talk about this shit around me. If you do, I'm just gonna stop fucking with you, period. That's the way you treat people like that.
It's better than
my main point where people want to say betrayal and all this. My main point is I want CG to be strong.
Yes.
I want us to work with. No, we're not, Ethan. The numbers are dropping, buddy.
Ooh. Dan, I've surpassed my last campaign.
You have.
Well, that's another thing I've been hearing too. Because everybody's on this malaise about how bad the Rippaverse is doing. The Rippaverse is doing bad, but nobody talks about the numbers over at CG. Because there's so many people over in CG. See, Rippaverse is just one guy, doing sort of my book, but CG is a bunch of guys doing a bunch of books, and I think what needs to be done is to sit back and take the name CG. Anybody puts their name on the book, I think what it should be done, like people need. To be all honest, the numbers should be given out for any and all CG campaigns that are going on. Numbers should be given out. Numbers should be seen. And compare those numbers to Eric July's numbers. We need to get the whole total scope of how this whole movement is not a, it's a movement. That's all this is. This is a movement. This is like this is like a niche. This is like a group of people who follow the same group of creators. A lot of people don't draw, whatever. They just like to be in the atmosphere. So this is like a small community, very small community of people who indulge in buying these comic books from these creators. These are people who like to do who just like comics, who like comics and like a particular type of comic, a niche comic, and that's what these guys over are doing, which is cool. They're making money, they're paying their bills, I mean, they're doing them, but yeah. So let's do some more of this stuff, and then I'm gonna stop it when I get to the Kickstarter part. I think about to get it, but I think Dan has a point. I mean, he's like the numbers are falling off, or whatever. I don't know what numbers he's looking at, and I would love to know the numbers he has, what Dan Fraga is talking about. And I think Shane was backing him up on that notion about numbers falling off and stuff like that. So I wish I knew what Dan Fraga was talking about, because whatever information he has, and anybody has the information, let me know. I would like to look into those numbers, because if it's true that Comicsgate comics are kind of falling off, and not many people are buying these books anymore, or like not buying as many as they were when this shit started off. Well, I think that's a story. I think that's a bigger story than Eric July's shit's falling off. Eric July is evidence that Eric July's shit has been falling off. Eric July is not a comic book company that's making $1 million hits anymore. He's a thousandaire. Everybody joke about the thousandaire. Yeah, he's a thousandaire now. He's running a multi-million-dollar company on $1,000. So if that's true, that's a trend. If people have pulled back and are not buying as many indie comics, especially CG comics and Rippaverse comics, that don't mean it's not just the Rippaverse is falling off, but it's also the Comicsgate people falling off. Now, the thing is it because that both of these groups of Eric July and Comicsgate, could it be because they're polarizing? Could it be because of the comics they're making, or could it be just the overall outlook of our economy is about to change, and people have less money to buy this stuff? And it could be just the economy is changing and people have less money, or it could be the other, or it could be a mix of both. Who knows? Maybe people who are buying comics are like being kind of picky and choosy, because I think what it is with indie comics is it was just like get it because it's cool, everybody's doing it, but now it's getting to be like, I don't know, I only got enough money to do one thing, is I do this campaign or this campaign, and people are going to go with the campaign that they know they're going to get a lot out of. That's what I think this is amounting out to be. So it could be a bunch of things. Like I said, the economy is changing. People don't have a lot of money. You're in an economy with eggs at $10 $10 for a dozen. And this guy over here has a campaign where you get his book for $10. You either have eggs to make your cakes, to make your omelets, to make your double eggs, or you can just buy a comic book, which won't fill your belly. Hey, it is what it is, man.
You're an outlier.
Okay.
Talk to some other people, man. Look at other people that are working just as hard as you that aren't getting your numbers, Shane.
Who's working just as hard as me? That's not
equal
getting my numbers.
Equal outcome for everyone.
Aaron Lepresti is working. That's not what I'm saying. Equal income, John.
Outcome.
That's such a troglodyte thing to think.
Ooh. Oh, sorry.
Well,
Shit. Damn. Damn, Dan. Holy shit. But you know what? These guys are friends, and they can talk to each other like that. I would expect that. I mean, this is what friendship is about. To be able to call your buddies out and still walk away without black eyes. So he calls me. Yeah, there you go.
If Aaron has an issue, talk to me about it.
I didn't say he had an issue. I'm talking about numbers. You guys are saying we're stronger than ever. The numbers aren't stronger, and it's because we're fighting.
I didn't ask them to leave. They left. I didn't ask Rini to leave. She stopped talking to me. I didn't ask Kelsey to go away. She went away. The reason why she went away.
What is the common reason people go away?
PTP.
No, what is the common reason?
PTP is the common reason people go away.
So
PTP's in your ear. PTP's in their ear. PTP told me. He said, I'm going to badmouth you to people. I'm going to make trouble for you. He said it in my text. When I said, I can't have you around anymore, he said, trust me, I'm going to be around. And he's been badmouthing. He's got you.
I will admit, yeah, PTP, when he gets the chance, will badmouth anybody you see. PTP will do that shit, you know. From what I've seen, you know, I'm like, damn, dude, what the hell he do? What the hell they do to you, you know? I still don't know what I still don't know the relationship. You know, I'm just the observer, folks. I came into this game late. I don't know what all's going on. I just know about this situation and this situation with Dan Fraga. That's the only thing that I want to just talk about, because this shit with PTP is deep, and I don't even know if I want to even go down there. I mean, I tried to look into it, but it's like, man, it's a fucking rabbit hole going back to all that shit. I was like, I'm just going to deal with this. I just know PTP is some type of weird catalyst for the situation.
Program to be mad at Shane and John, who are completely normal people reacting to a situation the way normal people would react, with a little bit of people
normal people don't launch up a stream with two girls doing world building and call them names.
Dan, can I ask you a question on that?
Absolutely.
Directly on that. Why did you omit Ethan from that? Did you ever go back and watch what Ethan said?
No, I was sent the clip of what you. Well, then, Ethan, why would you do that? I'm asking you this. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because people who follow PTP into oblivion. Those two one very talented and one hanger.
Thank God I don't follow PTP. I don't know. I really don't know who PTP is. But damn. Shit.
On girl used to have hundreds of people watching them. Now they stream to 15 folks.
Their stream had nothing to do with anything. Their stream had to do with
that's my point. I don't care.
People doing world building. You cared enough to fucking stream them and insult them the whole time. That's how much you care.
It's funny. Yeah, I care, and I'm not about what they're streaming about. I'm saying they could be streaming about the most important thing in the world, but the fact is they lost their audience because they followed a retard off a cliff, just like you're doing.
You know what? But that doesn't justify EFAPing them and making fun of them.
I think it's a good point. I think it's a point that needs to be made. They're streaming to 15 people. That's crazy. Rini is a mega talented superstar creator who made a terrible choice.
You know what? If it costs you your piece, it's too expensive.
What do you mean, dude?
No, but I'm talking about whoever
business.
It is a business, but if it costs you your piece, it's too expensive, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, did you tell Patrick that?
No, I didn't, John.
You should.
I actually haven't talked to Patrick in probably about a month.
Oh, that's sad.
No,
the thing is, Dan, like we've already litigated our case against Patrick many times here by showing.
Yeah, they have. They've. After all this, I don't think there's been a stream that Ethan hasn't talked about, especially when John Malin's on there and Shane Davis is on there, that they don't talk about PTP. You know, and I still don't know what the fuck PTP is, but I just know that he's a bane to their existence. You know, he's like a thorn in their side. You know, one day I'm going to actually just say, okay, let's find out who PTP is, you know, and go and find out everything I can about him, because all the information I get about PTP is like all secondhanded shit, you know, and it's a weird ass story. It's like a weird ass origin story of this guy, you know. Like I say, I'm not worried too much about him, but I know that he is like the talking point of this argument they're having. You know, it's what I call a low energy argument, because you know, if this was on any other channel, they would be screaming, yelling, you know, all type of shit. But they're very cordial. One thing I can't give them about this situation is they're very cordial. They're not really talking over each other. They're acting like true debaters, you know, true people, like fleshing out an argument, you know, between each other, which I think this is a good civil example of how these type of panels should be really held. You know, there's no one screaming or doing either type of stupid shit like I've seen with a lot of other panels. So this is pretty good. I mean, this was a pretty good conversation, you know.
Receipts. I'm not going to do it again. Okay, I'm 100% confident, and myself, I am at peace.
I don't need those receipts. The receipts I'm talking about is the constant pecking. Leave that shit alone. If he wasn't going to come to Jesus on it, leave it alone. But instead, you got to fuck with him. You got to be a bully about it. And it's the same thing. Ethan, I didn't know you were the one. Like, dude, why would you do that to those girls? other than to say,
oh,
they've got a small audience.
Thing to sit there and point out that since they left this crew, they can't get an audience. What a dreadful thing that I did.
That is a dreadful thing. That is a dreadful
it's a choice that they made, and pointing it out is something that I consider to be a fatherly thing. To say
thing to sit there and call a girl a lesbian, call a girl a lesbian, call her names.
These are the consequences.
Guys.
Well, you shouldn't do that. You know, that's not nice. But I think I get what Dan Fraga is saying. You know, just because these people left. I mean, I don't really know the circumstances why these people left, but if what Dan Fraga says is true, you know, it is a mean thing to do, to sit back and do that to somebody. But like I said, that just depends on what they said about Ethan. Because what Dan Fraga is not telling us is like, what did they say? What did they say to get Ethan angry? Because Ethan ain't gonna fuck with you unless you really say something. Unless you say something about him or attack him, he's not gonna. One thing I have learned about this man is that you don't sit back and you fuck with his wife, his child, his business, and you definitely don't talk shit about him, because he will come and talk shit about you, you know, and he will make sure he has a very big audience when he does talk shit about you. So the whole thing about it is you don't really like sit back and try to make someone an enemy like Ethan, or like I said, you can be Ethan's friend, you can be Ethan's buddy, but if you talk shit about him, he's gonna come back and right at you. You know, because Ethan ain't no punk. You know, he ain't no punk. He's gonna fucking fuck with you and give you that big return like you gave to him. So the thing about it is, you know, we're dealing with this man. Try to stay away from anything. He'll stay away from insulting you as long as you don't insult him. I'll put it to you that way. You know, so if you incur his wrath or whatever, that means you chose to incur his wrath. All right. This dude, Ethan's not gonna say nothing about you unless you do something about him, unless you sit back and you take what he's doing and you try to turn it into something horrible, bad, whatever, you know. And there's no reason for me to do it. You know, there's no reason for basically anyone to do it. Only people that really gets on Ethan's nerves are people who are trying to come and destroy Comicsgate, you know. And there are a lot of people who are trying to destroy Comicsgate. There are a lot of people who are in this so-called cancel culture who want to take every person on this panel and make them unemployable and not able to pay bills and feed their families and shit like this. You know, these guys are only doing what they're doing because they've been like ousted out of that. No, they've been ousted, you know, and Comicsgate is a place for each and every last one of these guys to come and make some money. And the council culture, you know, the people I can't stand, that I wish that would just leave the left part of this argument and go somewhere else with their bullshit. They constantly attack these guys. They actually want these guys to starve and wind up being poor because they just don't like these guys to express themselves. And what I mean by express themselves is like everybody has a right to say what they want to say, right? But the problem is like what these guys, I think Ethan, John Malin, Shane Davis, and maybe a couple of these guys up here don't understand that people will hold you liable for what you say, right? So if you have these thoughts or whatever in your head and you say them at the wrong place at the wrong time, people will come after you, you know? And that's why sometimes you have to think about what you say, because what you say may appeal to that very few, but it may piss off the whole many, you know? So you can say what you want. I'm not saying, no, not to say how you feel or how to express yourself, but we'll say, you know, remember, you will be held liable for anything you say. That's just the way this country works. Yeah, you have the right to free speech, but you're also gonna be held liable for what you say. So just like if you say something and you get canceled for it, well then you got to own up to it. You got to stand behind what you say, or apologize, wanted to, you know. But hey, you have the right to say what you want, man. I'm not gonna stop you.
Of your actions.
Come on.
What's wrong with being a lesbian?
Nothing's wrong with being a lesbian.
Then what do you?
But the context in which you guys carried it on is everything.
Yeah,
right? You called me a faggot.
So
and
are
I'm
you?
your friend? No, I'm not. So, but you know what?
Is Rini a lesbian? No, she's not.
And when I asked Patrick if he said that,
he
he
denied
said
it.
no. He said,
Oh,
"Why
no,
would I say that? That's
Man, get
ridiculous."
out of here. You got to stop,
That's
man.
funny.
Listen, I've known you for 30 years. You
I know.
got to take my word a little bit. A little bit. You got to
Sure,
give me a little more.
Yeah. So part of what I've understood by Ethan, part of his personality is that his offensive nature is part of him like being funny. Ethan has a very offensive nature. And he's funny in that aspect. When he's in his offensive nature, he doesn't really mean what he's saying. He's just saying that to make your eyebrow go up. To make you like turn your neck and like, what you say? And I don't think he really means a lot of the stuff that he says. A lot of the stuff that he do, I think he does it out of pure being funny. Being reflective. Case in point, Dave Chappelle, when he did the Black Klansman, that shit was funny. All right, that was funny. All right. So a lot of people, especially people who call themselves the cancel culture, these people don't really have a wide range of critical thinking when it comes to when people are being funny and don't take him serious. He's just saying something. A lot of people don't understand that. It's one thing to like say something and be reflective and funny about it, but it's another thing to just keep on doing it. Is to keep on doing it when you shouldn't be doing it, right? It's a time and place. That's why people say it's a time and place for that type of joke. I know a lot of people have heard that, and that is. And in this case, sometimes it is. It is a time and place for that type of joke. Because the thing about it is making those type of jokes, everybody has to be in on the joke. If everybody ain't in on the joke, people won't get it, and it's not funny. So to joke around like that is one thing, which is in his nature. That's what he does. That's part of his personality. And a lot of people who aren't in on his jokes will find him offensive. For somebody like me, I'm open to like a lot of shit. But it's when the intention behind some of this shit is just like aimed at fucking pissing me off, is when I'm like, okay, this is not nothing. There's nothing to reflect here. This is just you just being mean-spirited, like fuck you. That's basically what it is. So I knew when he called her a lesbian, he did. He was just saying it just to make her mad. Everybody else is on the joke at this point, but that person wasn't, I knew that, and it ain't really nothing to just say like, somebody got something against a lesbian or something like that. But like I said, that's Dan Fraga's friend. He knows she ain't a lesbian. He knows that he was just saying it just to make her angry, because obviously she did something to Ethan to make Ethan angry. So, like I said, there's a lot of stuff here, and eventually, hopefully, I'll get to it and figure out why all these people are fighting each other, And I'm gonna eventually get around to one day looking at all this shit. But let's keep on going.
So, dude, I do give you credit. But what I'm asking for is let's try to make Comicsgate like it was.
We are, but without them.
No, that's it. We aren't like it was.
Sure
it's not a wide open sea to go promote your books.
It can't be, because we let people in here who try to subvert it. Patrick was here trying to subvert it by saying Comicsgate isn't what it is anymore because of the trademark. Dan, is there somebody who's in a better position to basically be the central hub of?
Dude, I'm glad you did it. Like I said it. Preston Poulter deserved that. I'm so glad you did that. I'm asking
you, is it PTP? Should he be the guy who's running the show? Should
no, but did he ever say that everybody on the show? I mean, there's big flaws. There's big time flaws in your.
Well, there probably is. I'm not a perfect guy, and I do this as charity work. Okay, I don't.
I know you've done a lot for a lot of people, and I have massive gratitude for that. I have massive gratitude to all the fans. I have massive gratitude to John Malin, just because I call him. It doesn't, John. You know what? I love my kids, and when I'm mad at them and I tell them don't be a bully, it doesn't mean I don't love them.
You yet to lay out how I bullied anybody, Dan.
I don't have to, John.
Well, you kind of do.
No, I kind of don't. It's out there.
A little bit.
It's out
you know,
there.
if I say, Dan Fraga's being a bully, I should probably have a case for that.
Why not come have a case with me?
Can you pull this picture up real quick, Ethan?
Sure. What do you got here?
It's been censored by me. This is a man with a butt plug. It's like a raccoon.
One person.
What?
One person with a butt plug, and all of a sudden it's a sex club.
Yeah, one person with what? Oh, I'm sorry. One nudist. One
Look at all
with a
and go, you're like Farnsworth. I could turn to John Malin and call him a Timu version of Bam Margera, and he'd
one of us. I would do that.
So glad
I'm asking you, is it PTP? Should he be the guy who's wrong?
It's been censored by me. Okay. This is a man
that Aaron is
I just want to get past that part,
sex dungeoner, and he's
a sex dungeoner.
Party time.
You would do to Aaron.
Party time.
I would say Aaron. That I would call him a dungeoneer, meaning that he went to a sex like dungeon.
Come on, Aaron. Do this to me.
Yeah.
Someone did a video about the Dungeoneers. Somebody, I know it's got to be somebody has done a video that I can use for reference to go back and find out what the hell the Dungeoneers. Someone told me once about the Dungeoneers. They told me like in brief. I think it was probably Frog Tony or someone told me about the Dungeoneers. But there's a story out there about the Dungeoneers, and I'm going to find out what it really is, the whole story. All I know is PTP was a part of it. It was about wife swapping and swinging and all this type of shit. So one of these days I'll find out. Like I said, when I showed up over here, that shit was already said history. So one of these days I'm going to find out the story behind the Dungeoneers. One of these days. I know I'm late on this, folks, but one of these days I'm going to get somebody to actually tell the story, the whole story. I mean, there's got to be a video done about this somewhere. You know, if anybody got a link, just hit me up in my on my Twitter or Blue Sky, and they'll send me a message.
I would do that to you. Yes, absolutely. I do that to any one of us. I would do that to any one of us. I would come up with a nickname for you. I would come up with a nickname for you, Aaron.
And it's funny. I got drunk and I smoked something from some lesbians. I'm going to be hearing about that for many years.
Yes, you are.
That's fine. It just is what it is. I don't cry about it.
You know, the thing about it is that Ethan is owning up to it. You know, he's owning up to it. I mean, it's on video too, so he's owning up to it, and he makes fun of himself about that whole thing, what he did. Which goes to show you, he's a good, well-natured guy. You know, you think about it. Sometimes he comes off as a jackass sometimes, but I think Ethan is a guy that you can actually hang out with, have a beer, you know, talk shit with, and have fun with, you know. But his business side is totally different, you know, and that's good. That's good. He has two sides of it. He has the social side and he has his business side. His business side is harsh and cold, but his other side, where he socializes people, you know, it tends to be funny, something relaxed, you know. It's like watching like The Man Show. You know, everybody remembers that show, The Man Show. I mean, that's what that side of him is like, you know. And I'm beginning to understand that a little bit. And that's the side right now we're getting, you know. And you see a little of his business side coming in. But he seems to be a cool guy, you know. But think about this: you have to be his friend to get that side of him. You know, I'm not Ethan's friend, you know. And if you're not his friend, he's gonna probably treat you cold. You know, I don't know this dude from fucking Adam, you know. I just know of his work, what he's done, and all this stuff, but I do not know him like the rest of these guys in these panels are, because these guys are all his friends, you know. So he's going to treat them differently than he's going to treat me or the next guy or whoever, you know. So it's all about relationship type of thing.
Like there are bullies.
Some people have thicker skin. I could turn to John Malin and call him a Timu version of Bam Margera, and he'd laugh because. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he could take a joke. I can turn to Shane and go, "You're like Farnsworth. You're like Farnsworth from Deadwood, bro. That's who you are to me." And you'd laugh because you can take a joke, but it takes two, man.
It takes.
Or saw it, wouldn't get the reference.
No, I don't. They need to.
It's fine.
Watch the show. But you missed it. They were laughing at it. Everybody laughed at it. It was funny. It was funny. But what it was never about the Dungeoneer shit. It was about all this shit that happened before that. They just used that to build up we're a victim. They all laughed about it when that term came. Yeah, like we're all having a good time. I guess we are Dungeoneers. Yeah, they are. They went to a fucking sex dungeon themed dance club.
What?
And I don't feel bad about calling them Dungeoneers one bit. called Cecil it too.
Yeah, I think the real problem was the ambition behind all of that. The real problem was, to be honest, it's not about the sex club. The real problem was the ambition to start a series of Comicsgate conventions that Biggins and PTP could mediate and gatekeep. And that got scuttled by the Dungeoneer thing.
This is what I don't understand about that, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
They have no gravitas for anyone to ever go, yeah, you're the guys to do that. Because here's the thing about conventions. Yeah. Did we need somebody to put it together for us?
Yes, I told them to do it. They should absolutely do it.
But when we went to Garden State, was there anybody that needed to put it together for us? Or did we just go?
We just went.
People just we didn't need permission. Right. So
you're right. I don't need permission. Yeah.
Right. I don't understand how anybody would say, "Oh no, we're going to make these Comicsgate cons and we're going to gatekeep it." That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it does. I know
it doesn't. Dan, if you look at the Dungeoneer files, I'm being bullied for not wanting to go back to Tampa again by Biggins, and I'm suggesting Heroes Con, and I'm just saying I'll go to the cons I want. And that was against the narrative. It's in the room. You can see me being bullied.
I don't go in the rooms. That's the thing that.
It's there though. Everybody's seen it, Dan.
Don,
okay, so that situation.
But you take such a strong stance on these things, but you're not even informed. You're admittedly not informed in that.
Let's see. Let me read this. Lady Ali Sengis. If they admit they lied about me, I'll remove the strike, which was because they showed the inside of my book. I didn't see anyone defending me. I know a couple were, but Dan is immune. If they admit they lied, I'll remove the written word strike. So she struck them because they were showing the inside of her book, and that's hard. That's a hard thing to do. That's a very hard thing to do. That I don't know how she pulled that off because that's where I've never heard somebody striking somebody because they show they. I mean, if they're gonna show, if they're showing like her whole book, like they're going from page to page to page to page to page to page to page, I could see a copyright strike. But if they just show like a little part of her book. That's like realm of fair use. I don't know how she got away with that strike for real.
Dan, have you seen this?
What is this?
This is Allie talking about.
So this is from yesterday. Channel. This is from yesterday.
Yeah, her trying to hold my copyright strike.
But she let it go.
In order to get her way.
No, she didn't. He contested it.
No,
I don't know. I don't know if she did it or not. I contested it.
And you know who asked for the strike to be removed?
Here's the thing about I think a lot of people got copyrights wrong, but the thing about it is that copyright DMCA is made, and if you contest it, that means you're going to court. I mean, that's a legal document that says that that they have a certain amount of time. The person who issued the copyright has a certain amount of time to go to court and bring whoever to court to have this settled in the matter. So, but if the thing about it is, if they don't take them to court within 14 business days, I do believe, which is basically a month. It's basically a month. What will happen is that they'll put the content back up. So the thing is that when you file, I've had this issue before. When you file a copyright complaint, the person you file on has a right to file a counter notification. That's basically what most likely John Malin did. I think he just said it. Think about a counter notification is that's just saying, let's go to court. All right. The problem is if you go to court, right? And you find, and then the finding is basically going to be like the first question is going to come out the judge's mouth because it's going to be in small claims court. The first thing that come out of the judge's mouth is like, did you own that content? Did you get permission to show the content? And if you say no, under fair use, then it's going to be like the judge is going to look for himself to see what you show was fair use. But the whole thing about it is that copyright is the thing that it belongs to somebody, right? That shit is yours. And they need to ask you permission to show anything of it. So once the finding is that you had no rights to show, it's going to basically be, you had no rights to show it to begin with. You shouldn't have done it. you should have got this guy's permission or whoever permission to show what you have shown, you're mostly likely going to win that case. And that person who decided to file the counter notification is going to wind up having to pay you and your lawyer's fees and court fees, you know. So the thing about it is, if you get a copyright strike, the last thing you should do, unless you got really good legal representation, is to don't contest it. I mean, I would say don't contest it. You know, I mean, shit. If I've got copyright strikes, you know, and I've contested my copyright strikes because what happened was that I was getting false copyright claims. You know, I produced something and someone tried to claim that it was theirs, rightfully knowing it's not theirs. So I had to file a copyright complaint against each time this person had tried to take my stuff down. So I lawyered up. After the fifth time they took my shit down, I had to lawyer up. And we basically said, and I basically told this motherfucker, is like, basically, if you want to keep playing this game of fake, false, erroneous copyright strikes, the next one you file, you're going to be in court. And the thing about it is, when you get these people in a court, they have to do this thing called not lie. You see, if you're filing a legal document and you wind up in court and it's found that you filed it under unscrupulous and not in good faith, it's this thing called perjury. If you lie in front of a court, you can get 5 years for perjury. If you lie and say, yeah, I made this and you didn't, that's perjury. You lied to a judge. So that means you go to jail. That's an offense. You will go to jail. Or you can come to court and not lie and pay the fines and fees and pay all the, I mean, you're not just going to pay like court fees. You're going to have to pay for my lawyers. You're going to have to pay for my lawyer's time. You got to compensate me. And you have to do everything, but all because you wanted to file a counter notification on shit you quite frankly knew you did not have the rights to. So the thing about it is that, you know, be wise before you file a counter notification. Just be wise. You know, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be wise, because like I said, I have lawyers for this shit, you know, and I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what YouTube lawyer tells you or says you what you can and cannot do, or what Twitter lawyer will tell you what you can and cannot do. It's what your lawyer that you pay money to tells you the correct thing, because you're paying him to tell you the correct thing. You're paying for his counsel. You're paying people who are professionals to tell you what you can and cannot do. I don't know what this motherfucker on Twitter, where his educational background is in law. You know, I know that my lawyer does know. He knows if somebody files a copyright complaint or whatever, he knows how to handle it. You know, I know when someone I know when I have to file copyright complaint with somebody. He knows how to handle it. You know, he knows how to handle it. So I don't really have to do nothing. But I know for a fact, because of this guy who kept on doing this shit, you know, after he sent that letter saying the next time you send one, just have your legal counsel standing by, because we're going to take you to court and we're going to sue you, because everything you've done to this point has been in bad faith. 5 times. There's no way that you can file a copyright on somebody 5 times on each time they've been contested. You know, you don't take us to court, but we're going to take you to court the next time you do it. Trust us. Never had problems. I never had a problem with copyright strike on my channel ever again. Never. I've never had. And it's been what, 20, I think it was 2018 was the last copyright strike I got from this moron. You know, and I haven't had one since. So the law works. I mean, the law works, you know. And I just tell people, like, when it comes to like legal shit like this, don't do it on your own. You know, get a lawyer, because a lot of these copyright strikes and takedown notices are only made for them to get your personal information, because you have to fill the personal information if you are the person who filed a counter notification. You know, so like I said, you want to be getting a letter from me, you be getting a letter from my law firm, the people who represent me. They will take care of you. Because I went to my law firm, I explained to like why I'm getting this copyright, because this guy's tried to fish for information on me, you know. And they said, okay, we'll take care of that, because what we're going to do is we're going to send him the letter, and it's going to be addressed from us. And we would like to see him try to dox us or try to dox anybody in this firm to see what happened to him. And I was like, okay. Okay. Let's get back to this.
Remove John?
A lot of people added Team YouTube.
Yeah, but someone who actually spoke to her You know who had it? It was Rini.
You, Dan? Did you
Rini,
ask her
John.
to remove the strike
No,
from my
John,
channel?
it was Rini. It was Rini.
Oh, well, that was smart of Rini because it was
What do you
from
mean
her
smart?
channel.
What do you mean smart?
Opposite of dumb.
What smart in which way?
Opposite of dumb.
Duh, really?
Yeah.
Come on,
Opposite
guys.
of dumb.
That's your
Why
problem.
would she
That's
be
your
smart
CG
in this?
brother,
Because she was being
Because
kind.
it's a good business move, Dan. Because we're all
It's
in
a
your comics
kind
game. Because her
business
whole
move.
thing is trying to keep, from her point of view, I guess, the peace. That would be a good, smart thing to do,
She
wouldn't it,
didn't
Dan?
have to do.
It was smart, wasn't it?
She didn't, and I wasn't told to tell you.
Oh, that was smart of her, then, wasn't it, Dan? Fucking what the
It
hell,
was kind
dude?
of her, is what it was.
It wasn't a kindness,
It,
Dan.
it's,
It was
no,
smart.
it's not good for her business. Why would that be good for?
I'm sure
Rina's
she
business?
lost hours of sleep on whether or not to get that strike removed from Allie.
She didn't.
I know she didn't. Fucking know it. Dan, I don't know why you're so fucking like I don't know, man. Like,
why I'm
like
so
these
pro
girls
CG?
have been
Why I'm so
destroyed
pro
by
CG?
us.
Oh,
or
let's
something.
see that. What is
You know, Irene still, I believe, is still a member of Comics
What do you
Gate
got,
King.
man?
She doesn't come in here.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Hold on a second.
That's
Fat mommy.
Oh,
he's got gas too.
That's great, Graham.
wait, where's his PP?
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Wait a minute. I want to put this competition to rest. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Let's just do this.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. That's dope.
Oh,
That's dope. I like that.
That is
Great
fantastic.
cartoon,
That's
man.
fucking awesome. I like that. I like that Frankenstein. I like that.
that's
Frankenstein.
great.
There it
Great
is.
cartooning.
Vote Aaron. That's all.
Yeah.
If I could
John,
get in-
John, do you notice there's a
Aaron
begins with an
do you notice there's a Bud Light down there in his hand?
Oh,
You know,
oh,
Aaron, that's not a
disgusting.
fat Elvira. Just saying.
Bud Light.
Now
right
he's
there in
gay
his
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
hand. All right.
That was one of the things Patrick got mad about first was Bud Light. That was it.
What did he
He
get
wanted,
mad about?
he wanted everyone to boycott Bud Light, and I said, "Why boycott Bud Light?" And he said, "Well, because there's other places we can get beer from." I go, "Oh, then why aren't we still boycotting Kickstarter?"
Okay.
And the room went silent.
All right, this is the part I'm going to. I think I'm going to go into this. I ain't gonna play. I mean, let's get through this part because I want to go into some of the stuff that I found out about this boycott. You know, why it's stupid. You know, and Dan is being wise. I mean, he's Dan's being wise because he's sticking up for his friend. You know, that's the type of stuff that I like. You know. I know they all friends and stuff, and sometimes when your friends do things or say things, you know, the best thing to do is to stand up and tell your friends, like, you know what, that's not right, man. You know, I mean, we'll start arguments, you will argue, but it's just the whole nature of being social. You know, you will have arguments with your besties and your friends over stupid shit, you know, and they're just having an argument over stupid shit, you know. Dan's not saying he hates any of these guys up here. He just has a disagreement with them. That's all to it. I mean, it's nothing really big, but something big did happen in this, and which I think is another thing that I don't necessarily like about Comicsgate, you know, and it's just my criticism, you know. Comicsgate is something that they shouldn't be doing at Comicsgate because they're supposed to be like welcoming all these creators and stuff, but let's listen to this next argument we're about to get into.
I remember.
Yeah,
that.
Because Patrick wanted to go. Because
Light,
Patrick wanted to go to Kickstarter to sell his toys, and he saw that comment as me being obstacle in his way. And then months later, the whole omnibus stuff came down. So he already had an axe to grind with me because I embarrassed him by, you know.
Well, you're Mr. You're Mr. No Kickstarter guy.
Yeah.
Well, the entire Comicsgate used to be anti-Kickstarter.
Used to be.
Yeah, it was a boycott.
How does it feel? Because you were wrong.
It was a boycott. What was I wrong
Wait,
about?
how was he wrong?
You were wrong. Kickstarter is another place for people to see our books. There's other eyeballs.
But it was a
man.
boycott, Dan. Clearly, just like I can go get
Your
a Bud
boycott.
Light, it's just another place for me to go get a Bud Light.
Yeah, but Dan,
Obviously.
his boycott is.
It wasn't
I'm
my
not gonna-
boycott. It was
No.
everybody's boycott. I hate
Yeah.
that being framed like it was John's boycott. It's everybody's boycott, and we all went along with it. All the original people here We all went along with the fan.
I think this I do believe this boycott was started over Kickstarter. It was started by, I think it has something to do with the Jawbreaker shit. You know, I looked into that, you know, and every time when I tried to look into this Comicsgate boycott of Kickstarter, all I get is articles written by the supporters of the boycott. So it's like when you look up something and it's basically one-sided arguments. No, I mean, okay. So I have this side. So I'm looking for other opinions so I can take two things and try to, you know, balance my knowledge out. You know, that's what I do. I try to balance my knowledge out. But it's hard. It's hard because a lot of people didn't care. a lot of people didn't care. I found like a couple of articles that actually get to the point about mailing and the boycott. I had to go all the way back to like 2018 to even a little bit further than that to see why John Malin got, I guess, canceled, or what he calls it, canceled from Marvel or DC because of some stupid shit. But I had to go back and start from there and work my way backwards to find other opinionated voices, not just the ones on the right. I had to find ones that are like in the middle and on the left and everything. I had to take all that information and try to form a decent opinion that won't be like fucking like making me look like I'm against Comicsgate or making me look like I'm against John Malin and something. So I had to find this stuff. And the problem is we're trying to find this stuff. You have too many sympathizers. I mean, you got too many people who make these fucking arguments. And the thing about it is a lot of this shit is like black hole shit to where you'll go in there and you will never come out arguments. So I try to stay away from those articles, but try to find a couple. So I found a couple for pro boycott, and I found some that were not, you know, saying how ridiculous the boycott was. So I had to take everything with a grain of salt and just come up with my own opinion, which will probably come after this.
Fans are saying fuck Kickstarter. Everybody said, yeah, fuck them. That's what we did. So we said we are boycotting Kickstarter. That was a CG thing. That wasn't a John Malin thing. That was a CG thing. And Patrick was here, and all those other guys were here, and they were right along with it. They probably were silent.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that Billy Tucci, he's still over there. Billy Tucci, he's still doing Kickstarter campaigns. But Billy Tucci sums it up like this. Billy Tucci kind of sums it up in this video about it, and basically Billy Tucci doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna make money wherever the money takes him, which is like, I agree with that full-hearted. You know, if I know there's money on Kickstarter for my product, it's gonna go to Kickstarter. If I know I'm gonna get money on Indiegogo for this product, I'm gonna put it on Indiegogo. If I know my shit's gonna get funded over there on Fund My Comic, it's gonna go to Fund My Comic. You know, your problems with Kickstarter, John, is your problems with Kickstarter. Same thing with Ethan. Your problems with Kickstarter or your problems with Kickstarter. I need to make money, you know. And I think Billy Tucci has that corner, and I think Dan Fraga brings that up too. But I don't blame you. You know, I don't blame you. I don't blame Billy Tucci. I mean, I don't blame anybody who sits back and does Indiegogo or Kickstarter. I mean, it's about what's going to benefit you. This movement, by saying that you only want me to, you're not going to support me if I go on Kickstarter, I'm like, fine. You know, I'm fine. But what about if I go ahead too and do something on Indiegogo as well? Will you support that? You know, and they're like, no. No, like, wait a minute. I'm on Indiegogo. Why won't you? I mean, I don't care if you support my Kickstarter. I mean, I'm good on that. But you're not going to support me on Indiegogo because I also have a campaign going over here on Kickstarter? That's correct. I'm like, whoa, what type of mafia style shit is going on over here? Well, you'll see what I mean.
Silently against it until they got further along, and then they thought that they could have some kind of, I don't know, influence around here, and then they're, I want to get on Kickstarter. Okay, well, you're kind of weak sauce for breaking a boycott, then, aren't you?
Yeah, like Comicsgate means something or it doesn't. But I mean, you know, my thing is
then it should, right?
Well, yeah. Dan, thank you, Dan. Thank you. I agree with you.
We shouldn't eat our own. I agree with you.
Then we should still be boycotting Kickstarter.
No, we shouldn't.
I'm with you, Dad. Let's do it.
We should not.
Well, what should we do, Dan? What's the charter of Comicsgate? What should we be about?
So I'm the
things we've always been about. The thing we've always been
boycotting
Kickstarter. The fans. You're gonna tell Billy Tucci to boycott Kickstarter?
Yeah, see, so here we go. Here we go. Dan goes for the juggler. It's like going like ready to eat your words. What aboutism? Let's go. Well, here was my position, Dan. I said, look, man, for all of us that were there that supported the boycott at one point in time, I think it's whether we're men. Like, that's our thing. We did it. This is what we said we're gonna do. Billy wasn't around.
Men don't.
Billy was never there for boycotting Kickstarter. He came years later.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know about Indiegogo until Ethan when you.
I know for Billy it was like wait, there's another platform.
Yeah,
another platform.
He's not going to boycott. He's not going to boycott Kickstarter.
And anybody else who came by, like, that's just it. Some people are on fucking Kickstarter. I don't promote them. I just stopped promoting people on my channel for Comicsgate Presents.
And that is
because I was like, it sucks when I start promoting people and then I see their campaign 6 months later, a year later, going on Kickstarter. But I'm not out there raising hell about these guys. That is my position, and a lot of the guys that were here, including Patrick. So if you want to go, you want to. So I think what he's saying, like, if you're on Indiegogo, he'll support you. But if you go to Kickstarter, he's not going to talk about you. I mean, which is kind of fair. I mean, he's sticking to his guns. I mean, you can't blame somebody for sticking to their guns. I mean, I'm like, it'd be something different if you did an Indiegogo campaign. He backed you, not backed you, but got supported you and promoted you. But it'd be another thing if you took that same project after you did your run on Indiegogo, took it over to Kickstarter, and then he starts talking shit and bad mouthing you. But it seems like John Malin doesn't do that. He's just not going to talk about it, which is, in terms of his boycott, which totally makes sense. Which I totally agree with. If I'm boycotting something, I'll be if you're over here on Indiegogo, I'll be for you, promote you, whatever. But if you go to Kickstarter where I don't support, I'm not going to talk about you. I'm not going to mention your product. Don't ask me to promote it because I'm not. Because that's a tender spot for me. I don't want to fuck with anybody who goes over there. So he's sticking by his guns. I mean, there's no problem with that. I'm gonna go tell Patrick
making comics.
What's that?
You don't want people surviving making comics because that's
I do.
That's why someone would go to Kickstarter.
Yeah, when you're a group, you guys, you kind of go to the same clubs. You kind of wear the same jackets. It's kind of what you do. It keeps that unity, that unity that Darky was talking about yesterday. Unity. So once you start having people kind of like, well, I don't want to wear the same jacket, and I don't want to boycott Kickstarter. When you start doing all this stuff, that group mentality starts to kind of fizzle out.
Why have any sort of gatekeeping at all, John? You know what I'm saying? Like,
this is a boycott. This is a boycott, Dan.
To your words, but it's also
to
telling
everybody's
somebody what
words
they can
at that time. It was to everybody, Dan.
Yeah, show it, Billy.
Oh, that's
Elvira.
You made it stubby.
What did you do to her?
That's great. That's great, Billy.
To kind of make fun of it, like a fat vampire, but she's looking really hot.
Yeah,
Boom Baba Mau Mau.
There's a lot of hot.
You remember that song? Elvira.
Yeah.
My heart don't
Billy, Dan, look at this. Here's what I would say. Like, people who are saying, we could go to Kickstarter and make more money. I mean,
not more money, just additional money.
Right.
Well, yeah, okay. Let's check this out. So we offer, if you stay here on Indiegogo and isolate yourself from Kickstarter, because Kickstarter is a platform that has politically discriminated against our own a bunch of times.
Well, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but this is what I have to say about that. All right. Same thing about YouTube and other platforms that are like socially structured.
anytime you go to any of these platforms, you have to sign an agreement. An agreement, which in the terms of service, basically what you can and cannot do. And if you break this agreement, they have the choice of basically kicking you off their platform, right? So, in looking into the whole boycott and John Malin's boycott, and I do believe it started around. Let me see if I can find it. Nope, that's not it. I'm going to try to find an article, man. Give me a minute because I had to dig. I had to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. I found some shit here about Mike Byrne. He got kicked, and it's kind of confusing what they really kicked him for. But he made some book called Private American, and this is before my time coming over here. This is when they do this. When was the article? This article written was this is 2023. Actually, I was here for that. I just didn't stick around for the story. But as I read this stuff, it's obviously it was something in that book. It was something in this book that was offensive or whatever, and they wind up ditching the campaign. I don't know. I don't know. I think where should I start? There we go. I think I'll start with here. Let me get this up. Let me get this up because I think this is kind of important to show. And I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go down. I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. Let's see, Kickstarter discrimination subjugation, and I think it's this one. All right, so this is I looked this up, and I googled a lot of shit. I googled a lot of stuff, and it says Kickstarter has made comments to combat discrimination, intolerance, and subjugation of marginalized groups, including donating 5% of the revenue to organizations working against these issues and supporting creative works from marginalized groups. So, because they support, I'm going to say the words that you guys don't like. Because they support like gay people, colored people, marginalized people. Period. Those are called marginalized people. They give to these organizations and shit. They give a certain amount of money to these organizations and stuff for that, And the thing about it is that they're trying to show that they're a compassionate company, and they say that we accept all people, whether you're fat, you're gay, you're black or white, you have a disability, whatever. You all are welcome to our platform to do whatever you can to benefit you, right? So that's what they're trying. They're saying that they are a welcoming place for everyone. And over here, there is no nothing. We don't support anything that will come to our platform and make you feel uncomfortable, right? That's the thing. And the thing about it is, most or just about all corporations do this, and I don't blame, because if I had a big company like Kickstarter or AT&T or Sprint is AT&T or HBO, any type of corporation, will have this type of wording, because if you ain't watched what's been happening to Tesla, public opinion makes you or breaks you. How people perceive your company, how people perceive the way you operate and how you treat other people will guarantee your success as a company going into the future. That's capitalism. Capitalism ain't about how much money you're making or what you're doing or what technology. It's how the greater, how socially you appeal to people, And that's one thing that Comicsgate has working against them, is how they appeal to people, because of some of the rhetoric that comes from out of the top creators at some point. And you can't say they say this stuff. You can't say it. You can't say that they've never done nothing offensive. I can't sit back and sweep for Comicsgate and say they've never said or did anything offensive in their content or on their streams. I can't say that. That will be me lying to you, and I'm not going to lie to you because I've seen it myself, but I overlook that shit. because I'm not here for what they do that's offensive. I'm here for what they do as far as being creators. So I'm able to separate those two things. A lot of people can't, and they see it one and the same, but I can separate those two. I'm here for only one thing. I'm here to find what makes them successful. They can keep all the other shit. I'm just here to see what makes them successful and study them. That's what I'm here. So like I said, most companies, and you can go to any company and see these terms of services for yourself about how they conduct business and how they want you to conduct yourself while you're on their platform. So if you're on someone's platform, you do something against the terms of service, they have every right to take you. What's up, Chuck? Comics Gate is stupid. Hey, yo, Comics Gate is the stupidest thing ever. Well, I'm trying to be neutral there, Chuckers. Try to be neutral here. I'm trying to be neutral, and I know where you're coming from, and you're coming from the same place I come from when talking about Comics Gate and shit like that. I'm a person who's giving Comics Gate the benefit of the doubt. That's why I'm over here. That's why I hang out with some of these people over here who are CG. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, folks. They go into a more detailed explanation. It says Kickstarter. Hey, by the way, Chuck, how you doing, man? You seen you in a while. Nice to know you're still alive, dude. I haven't heard from you in months. The Kickstarter's comment is that Kickstarter has publicly stated it's committed to fighting discrimination, intolerance, and segregation towards marginalized groups. As part of this commitment, Kickstarter has pledged to donate 5% of their revenue to organizations working to combat these issues. Supporting marginalized communities, Kickstarter also supports creative works from and by marginalized communities. Recognize the importance of diverse voices and experiences. Racism, discrimination, intolerance are harmful. Racism, discrimination, and intolerance can have a devastating impact on individuals and societies, leading to social isolation, financial hardships, and mental health issues. Structural discrimination. Structural discrimination is based on the way our society is organized, and it can disadvantage certain groups of people. Mental health and diversity. In conclusion, the shit that most of you guys hate. Benefits of inclusion. That's something that these guys need to look up. Inclusive societies actively work towards reducing discrimination and prejudice, fostering a more equitable society. Which is true, I can't knock what they're doing over here. So Kickstarter supports Black Lives Matter. They hate that. And Kickstarter rejects injustice artist Mike S. Miller, Lone Star. Yeah, man, they did a lot of shit. Just Andrew Tate parody cover. I think he got canceled too. What I mean by canceled, I mean kicked off of Kickstarter. Glossary. So I went there, so any company you go to, any company that you will go to or try to use their platform will have these type of terms of service, and these terms of services predate the whole culture war type of shit. I mean, this shit's for every company, because like I said, every company wants to be inclusive with their content. I'm cool. What do you say, Chuck? I'm cool. I've been here just on my tablet and not my phone or computer where I can comment. Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. So that's the thing. That's the hated in DEI inclusive shit that all these guys, they hate it. They really hate it. They really hate it. I don't say. I mean, people ask me about this stuff. They ask me about DEI and all that shit. I try to not just give my opinion on it, but my opinion basically like this. White guy, black guy. Walking to a place to get hired. White guy is the nephew of the uncle who's on the board of that company. The black guy is the guy who went to college, went to college, got his bachelor's degree, went out to get his master's, and as did it was a journeyman, for like 9 to 10 years. You got one guy who has the experience, went to school, educated, went out and did his journeyman, and now he's ready to go and work on his own, work with his company. The other guy just got hired to do the same job the other guy doing because he just, is related, He gets the job, black guy doesn't. Now, black people say That's racism. White people say, well, not white people, but people in general will say it's not racist. The black guy they just didn't want him, and he must not have been qualified. When there's obviously there's a discrepancy in qualifications there. Now let's take it like this: black guy walks in, he gets hired because the government say you have to hire him, despite that white guy over there has the ability with the school, it's been this field and it's professional, and this we're not going to hire the white guy because we just going to let this black guy who has no ability to do this job whatsoever, get hired. And I think that's just about as bad, right? That's just about as bad as the other scenario, right? Because the government is forcing this company to hire this guy, and this guy doesn't know how to fucking do the job correctly, right? It's the same thing, and these two examples are both taken to the extremes. Here's the other scenario: both white guy and black guy has the same amount of fucking education background. Both of them are really, very, very, very good for this job, or have the wisdom and the smarts to do this job flawlessly, right? But you can only pick one, right? Both of them are oranges. I mean, apples to apples, not oranges to oranges, just apple to apples. They're both basically identical in their ability to do this job. Who are you going to pick? All right, so you know that they're both qualified. So what's left is one thing: the personality. If you can or cannot work with these people. They may be two people who have the same education background, but you're looking to see if this person is going to be able to do his job, work well with others, and be an asset to your company. That's what it should always boil down. You're gonna hire somebody not based on their skin color. You're gonna hire somebody based on their ability to be able to work with others. Because if you're a company, you got other people working. And this guy, you got to bring this guy in. Whoever the guy is, one of these guys is a fucking pervert, you got to worry about a lawsuit of him grabbing some chick. One of these guys is a crook, you got to worry about this guy stealing from you. So the whole thing about it is that we should judge people based on what they do, not who they are, as a black, colored, whatever. That's my stance on it. What you do in your past follows you. So if you're coming to my company and you got a history of doing some vile shit, offending people, grabbing, groping women, stealing, and this shit is in, like I said, you have two people, both qualified for the job. You look into their background, you see the shit they've done. The person who is less of a liability to your company is the person that's going to get hired, no matter if he's black or white. That's the thing people overlook. Even though you have the government saying you have to be more inclusive in your employment, doesn't mean you have to hire somebody that's going to either rob, put you in legal liability, or make it so that your company looks bad because of their behavior. That's the one thing people don't understand when it comes to DEI. You can reject DEI. And if somebody comes after you, you have to tell them, well, this is why we didn't hire. You have to have a reason. DEI takes away the reasoning for not hiring and firing people, right? It's what basically separates people from saying things like, well, they didn't hire me. They didn't hire me because I was white or I was black. Well, DEI is there to make an even playing field, to make it so that people are not looking at your color, but they're looking at your background. They're looking at how you work, how you compose yourself, how you conduct yourself. Because it used to be, if you're a certain skin color, you could walk in and get a job easily. But if you're the other skin color, we're not looking for nobody right now. But you got the wanted sign out there saying you need help. But yeah, that's not for you. So all DEI does is like, all right, the wanted sign, come on in. What you got? Let's look at your history. Let's see what you've done. Let's see. That's what it's about. Because before it wasn't that. You know. So what all DEI has done was made it so that when companies hire people, they have to do more than look at their skin color. They have to actually look at who they're hiring. Right? But people don't see it the way I do. People see it totally different. People see DEI and all this other stuff. It's evil. They're trying to take something. Listen, nobody's trying to take nothing from anybody. We're just trying to make it fair. They're just trying to make it fair. So let's go on. Let's go and do some more because, like I said, people don't look at shit the way I look at it. You know, people don't look at don't use common sense, and before they speak about, oh, it's DEI hires, they're not looking at what I look at. You can hire a white person, or you can hire a black person, you can hire a Mexican, but out of those three people, who in their background has something inside of them that's going to make your company liable for something in the future? That's my business sense. I don't care if you're black, white, Mexican, Puerto Rican, whatever the fuck you are. But if I see in your background that you have a knack of stealing from my company, or you have a knack of coming to my workplace and possibly grabbing and groping some woman, or you're out here doing things that's going to reflect badly upon my business, you're not going to get hired, whether you're a black or a white person, whatever. And that's how I look at it. And actually, if you have to do that deep of a search into somebody's history, that's a good thing. That keeps me from being liable for something that may go wrong. I'm hiring the best of the best. There's no more guesswork because you have to look in people's backgrounds before you hire, because you don't know who the fuck you're hiring. You don't know who the fuck you're going to promote or do anything. You don't know about these people. So yeah, so that's explained. So they have terms of services. So let me see. Let me get the news articles out. I can't talk about that now. I can't talk about that. We just talked about that. Who wants to save that? What was this? Close. Yeah, that's something we can talk about in a minute. I see. United States. Okay, I guess we can talk about that. I talked about all that stuff. Okay, let's talk about this, folks. I'm looking for, where's that article at? I had to find out what was the deal with John Malin. I was like, what's the deal with John Malin? Because I got like little pieces and parts of stuff he's done, and it's not a lot about why he's like, there's stuff written about him, but like I said, most of the stuff that's written about him about his boycott is coming from like right-leaning outlets, and I'm like, I'm not going to talk about it unless I find somebody else who's contradictory to this article, because it wouldn't be right for me a lot of people on this side of Indie Comics or CG will probably just stick with one article. They would just stick with one article and say, oh, this is correct or whatever, because it fits their narrative. But fuck, where is it? This really get on my fucking nerves now. I got something to present to you guys. Let's see. Cable artist John Malin on Nazis, Marvel, SJWs. I think this is from Bleeding Cool, published on in 2018. So yeah, we can talk about it. So this is one of the things that I think I got into an argument with somebody about, and it's about John Malin talking about the X-Men and all that stuff, and the X-Men are not social justice warriors and all this other stuff. And I think it's important to talk about this, because it kind of gets to why he feels that he's being persecuted for Number one, voting for Trump. Number two, his project on Kickstarter was canceled, and he blames SJWs for it. And I'm not here to defend SJWs. I'm not here to defend cancel culture, but I want to like show people like my opinion on all this stuff with John Malin, because I think I had a conversation with John Malin before about like his choices in naming his characters, and I think this is it. Is this it? I think this is it right here. This is it. Am I on the right one? Yeah, this is one. So this is from Bleeding Cool, and it says cable artist John Malin on Nazis, Marvel, SJWs, X-Men, and Shell Beach. You know, last night the current 90s style. Now, this is an article back in 2018. I had to go all the way back to 2018 to get any semblance on this whole thing about John Malin and counseling, and I think this is why he got canceled. One of the things that led to his cancellation, what I understand, because I really can't find a lot of stuff. Everything I found about him is basically like right-leaning shit. And when you deal with something that's that far on the right, the truth gets kind of skewed, you know. So this is like the closest I get, and it's only because they showed the tweets. Straight, your artist John Malin also this, so it also actually shows you some of the people that were after him, making these posts about him. What the fuck is cable artist John Malin on about? Is this really someone's ex-office once on their book? So people came out and spoke out against what he said. You know, show full tweet. Let's see. I do believe I have that tweet. Where is John Malin's tweet? It's got to be somewhere right. Okay, here's his tweet. Let me show you his tweet. I got the full tweet, so there's no guessing work here. I'll come back to that article, but I want to get his tweet out. Share screen. Is this it? Is this the post? Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Let me hit share. All right. So this is the tweet he made, I do believe. This guy named Rex. This is back in 2018, so I guess I'm in the right place. Aren't the X-Men literally socialist justice warriors? And I'm going to talk to you about that because, in a way, they sort of kind of are, you know. And also, I want to understand that Hitler also talked about social justice, you know, but it's not what you think. And I did some research on it, and based on research, I went to ChatGPT and I went to Grok and asked them the same question. I'm gonna get to that. So John Malin says X-Men are closer to Jews in SJW Hitler's Germany fighting for freedom because they see ideologues rising, silencing them, weaponizing hate, racism, and socialism against the people they claim are the root of social ills. SJWs are not Nazis, but Nazis are SJWs, and X-Men aren't SJWs. So what John Malin is saying is true, you know, but it's not what you think, because Hitler wanted to tear down the walls separating classes. He actually wanted people to be equal, but the way Hitler did it was the wrong way to go back, because he didn't want to just tear down walls. He wanted to fucking kill a lot of people. He wanted to blame people for his ills and social shit. So Hitler did talk about it. I'm not speaking for Hitler, but what social justice to Hitler meant is totally different what social justice over here means, you know. So he's saying that the X-Men aren't SJWs, but if you go over here and look at Stan Lee, creator of the X-Men, see what he has to say about that. Where are you? Where is the article? Oh, here it is. I found it. What is it? It's it's that one. So let's see what Stan Lee has to say about it. About what the X-Men are. This is the creator of his last words. Let's see. Let me share this. Okay. So this is an article. I don't know when it was written. This was written in 2023. And it says for 60 years, Marvel's X-Men comics have tackled themes of racism, homophobia, anti-socialism, and more. So the X-Men, and I know this for a fact because I love X-Men. X-Men do this type of shit. And X-Men, the comic book, and some of the writers that have ever been on there do tackle social issues. They do tackle injustice, you know. And the thing about it is that that's what X-Men was designed for. You know, that's their whole origin. So if you come down here, you know, I'm gonna skip all this shit. Where Stan Lee, Stan Lee's laziness proved to be an opportunity for a richer level of storytelling, not seen in the pages of his other superheroes comics, such as Iron Man and Fantastic Four. These are Stan Lee's words, right? This is Stan Lee's words. It says, I thought it might be fun to get an anthology with the way some people are picked on by bigots. Lee explained in the DVD extras of the animated anthology X-Men Legends of Wolverine. Here are characters that are going to look different, who are going to have certain strange powers. What if the human race is afraid of them, hate them perhaps, and persecutes them, torments them? Suddenly I became really fascinated by this because I could see there was such a parallel between things that were happening in society and these stories that we were trying to write. So Stan Lee has a conscious mind to introduce a bunch of heroes that he can put the social woes on and illustrate, you know, how they see the world, you know, how the world treats them for being different. You know, how racism and bigotry is making these guys fight against that type of shit. X-Men has always been social justice warriors. And this is coming from the guy who created them. So what John Malin said that X-Men aren't social justice warriors, in my opinion, he's wrong. You know, it's one thing to sit back and say one thing, but this is coming from the guy who created the X-Men. If you've ever read an issue of X-Men, you didn't even have to have Stan Lee tell you this or put this in writing. If you don't believe me, this comes from the DVD where Stan Lee is talking. This is not somebody writing. This is actual quotes from that DVD. So I know about people like, you didn't say that. This is not what he means. No, this is exactly what it means. The X-Men have always been on the side of justice, anti-bigotry, anti-fascist. Matter of fact, it's this group called the Friends of Humanity. They are a racist, bigoted bunch of people who were going around killing mutants and imprisoning mutants and enslaving mutants. Don't tell me that X-Men fighting them, X-Men, don't tell me you're on the side of those people. Because yes, those people were basically the fascists. They were the racists. They were the bigots. And they were out to kill the X-Men or mutants, you know? And not only that, but the way they tell the story in X-Men, there are actually mutants who hate humans and kill humans because they're bigots. And it's up to the X-Men to make sure that these people on both sides don't get their way because they want unity. They want humans and mutants to live together. And please tell me if I'm lying, if that term has never been quoted in the X-Men. So to say that the X-Men are not social justice warriors is just flat out not true. When you have the words from the man who created them himself saying how he wanted to introduce the social ills that he sees every day and include it into a group of young teenagers who are different, who are castaways, and have to deal with going through life as being people who are not going to be liked because of who they are. So please tell me. Please tell me that X-Men are SJWs. They are the living embodiment of it, and they've been around for decades. So the woke, the culture wars, started way back in X-Men #1. And all you motherfuckers who read this shit don't seem to know that shit because you're fucking tourists. I'm not talking about John Malin. I'm just talking about the rest of you motherfuckers who are on this fucking woke this. I'm talking about the people like the Eric July's. I'm talking about people who know of comics but don't know the fucking actual history of comics. Because I knew from a long time ago that the X-Men were the team, the civil rights organization. They're basically the fucking civil rights organization of the Marvel Universe. There ain't, you can go back to the old cartoon where they had to deal with racism and racism and discrimination in the cartoon. And I know if you're from the 90s like I was, you saw these cartoons too, so you know this. But to sit back and say X-Men is not a, yes, they are. It's just too bad you can't see it for yourself. This is like I said, folks, this is my opinion. This is my dead to rights opinion. And what people are going to say, oh, he's wrong. It didn't become woke until woke was cool to say, and the culture war. No, dude, listen. These are ideas that were in Stan Lee's head a long time ago. Stan Lee was way ahead of his time. Stan Lee is a storyteller on par with Mark Twain. All right? Mark Twain introduced us to Nigga Joe. All right? Hell, folks. Let's take a break, folks. I'll be right back. Sorry, folks. I accidentally pushed the wrong button. No, I had remember I told you about a fan I had to order? Yeah, it just showed up. And in about another, say 10, 15 minutes, I'm gonna have a DoorDash order. Well, actually, I do Uber now. Fuck DoorDash. They can't get shit right. So I'm gonna cook some food tonight, and they're gonna bring my food. I'm gonna cook my steak, my ribeye, my potatoes. And that should be coming a little bit. And then I can start making my dinner tonight, cook for myself. Anyway, so X-Men are. So there's something else over here about social justice warriors. And you gotta be careful when you look up certain things, especially when it deals with something edgy like this. Because is this it? Because you got to watch out for the alt-right coming in here and trying to make these articles. And I went through a bunch of these articles over like the last day or so, and I read them, a majority of them, and you can tell which one are alt-right people trying to or not necessarily not alt-right, but a lot of right people who hate like social justice and shit like that, or hate anything that has to do with equal rights or anything. You can tell who's writing these because they always try to equate the evils of what Hitler did with an actual movement. You see, Hitler was not about equality. He was about supremacy. And I don't care. I mean, you can tell me whatever, but that's what Hitler was about. He was about total supremacy. He wiped out gypsies. He wiped out Jewish people. He wiped out. He tried to wipe out. He almost succeeded with the gypsies. He almost wiped those people totally the fuck out. So That's the thing I'm talking about. When people say, well, one guy, yeah, I hate fucking fascists, I hate Nazis, I hate all of them, I hate all the motherfuckers, you know. And I mean, if somebody wants to say, if I hate that's the shit I hate, you know. And I hate it when people try to sit back and say they're the most evilest person in the fucking world and try to say, oh, well, he did good things. I'm like, he never did a damn good thing, right? He never did a damn good thing. I don't give a fuck who he is or what he does or what. I don't care. I mean, that's something that people have to disagree with me on. I don't care. If you disagree with me, fine. That's you. But where is it's another article in here somewhere. I mean, I think it's hidden up on all this shit. Yeah, so it's an article called Hitler Was a Social Justice Warrior, which is basically, you know, I'm trying to figure out how's that, because social justice, although Hitler did talk about social justice, but it's not on par with how social justice is condoned today. It has nothing. What Hitler did in good old Germany back then is totally not on par with what's happening now. All right. So I don't get the equivalency. It's more like a false equivalency to say that, you know, about SJWs, whoever. You know, I'm not an SJW, but I'm just saying, no, the facts are what the facts are. And to sit back and say things like the X-Men were not social justice warriors, well, that's what the whole book is about. That's what the book has always been about since its inception. And you heard Stan Lee say that from his own words. Get the DVD, you know. But the next thing I want to show you guys is that I went and I did two things. I used ChatGPT and I used Grok, right? And I'm going to show you, where is it? I just had it. There you go. Got that one. Where's Grok? Okay, so I'm going to show you what Grok has to say first. Let me get that out. Present. Testing 1, 2. Okay, y'all can hear me. Here we go. Share screen. Grok. Share. There you go. So I asked Grok, you know, was Hitler SJW? And this is what he had. This is what Grok had to say. The term SJW, social justice warrior, is a modern internet slang used to describe individuals who advocate for progressive social issues, often with a focus on identity politics, equity, and political correctness. It emerged in the late 20th and 21st century, long after Adolf Hitler's time. Applying it to Hitler applying it to Hitler, who lived from 1889 to 1945 and led Nazi Germany from 1933 to 1945, is anachronistic and doesn't align with historical context. Hitler's ideology, as outlined in Mein Kampf and implemented through the Nazi regime, was rooted in extreme nationalism, racial hierarchy, with the Aryans at the top, anti-Semitism, and authoritarianism. This goal include territorial expansion, the extermination of the Jews, and other groups deemed undesirable, and the establishment of a totalitarian state. These principles are fundamentally opposed to the values typically associated with social justice movement, which emphasize inclusively on equity and opposition to oppression. With that said, some might draw superficial parallels if you squint hard enough, like Hitler's use of propaganda to rally support for his farming of Germans as victims of international forces. Now, who else is doing that right now to the American people? Yeah. With the tariffs, e.g. the Treaty of Versailles. But these were tools for a supremacist genocidal agenda. Not to push for societal equality, calling him an SJW would be a misuse. Here we go. Calling him an SJW would be a misuse of the term, historically inaccurate and likely a provocation than a serious claim. So no, Hitler wasn't an SJW. He was a dictator whose ideology and action clashed with anything resembling social justice. So once again, go back over here to what Malin said. You know, the cause of his canceling. You know, let's look at what he said again. let's go on. Let's look at this. What he said again. Let's see. Is this the right one? Our comics pictures. Let's see. There we go. This is from 2018 again, from Polygon, and they have the here it is. It says X-Men are closer to Jews in SJW's Hitler, and in SJW's Hitler, Germany fighting for freedom because they see ideologues raising, silencing them, weaponizing hate, racism, and socialism against the people they claim are not the roots of social ills. And right here at the end, right here, it says SJWs are not Nazi. It took news post. SJWs are not Nazis, but Nazis are SJWs, and the X-Men are. So he's saying that Nazis are SJW. So when anybody over here calls you SJW, they're calling you a Nazi, right? SJWs are not Nazis, but Nazis are SJWs. And Nazis are SJWs. That's number. And just to further this a little bit more, where is it? Let's see. Where is ChatGPT? Because I asked the same question to ChatGPT. You know, I asked ChatGPT the same question. You know, because I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, he could be right. You know, Nazis are SJWs. One and the same and same in all, right? Share. This is from ChatGPT. It says, no, Hitler was not a social justice warrior. SJW, any reason. The term SJW refers to people advocating for social equality, civil rights, and progressive causes. Hitler, on the other hand, was a fascist dictator responsible for horrific atrocities, including genocide, oppression, and aggressive militarization. His ideology was rooted in racism, authoritarianism, and extreme nationalism, directly opposing the principles of social justice. So, Nazis are SJWs. And every time I watch any of the Comicsgate people talk, or if you listen to Comicsgate people talk, or you hear, you go to any of the Comicsgate shows, anything, they're always saying SJW this, SJW that, they're evil, these people can't be trusted, all this other shit. And to sit back and say that something that, I mean, you're saying Nazis are SJWs, but Nazis and SJWs are two different things. They stand for two different things, both polar opposite, yin and yang. So that statement right there is an oxymoron. And people are like, oh no, we're gonna call it, no, I'm not calling moron, I'm just calling the statement an oxymoron. You know. And a lot of you guys probably don't know what an oxymoron is. Let's see if I can find definition to let you guys know what an oxymoron is. I sort of swore I had it up. Let's do this. There we go. Let's look at this real quick. Share. Let's say oxymoron. Here it is. Oxymoron from the dictionary.
Oxymoron.
Oxymoron. Figure of speech in which apparently contradictory terms appear in conjunction, e.g., faith, unfaithful, kept him, falsely true. That fashionable rhetoric, novelty, the humble brag itself is an oxymoron. So it's two contradictory terms put together in a sentence in conjunction. And I think that the whole thing about saying Nazis are SJWs is a very contradictory term. Both the meaning of Nazis, of what Nazi stands for and what SJW stands for, two totally different things. Now, here we go with this argument. You know, am I calling John Malin a racist? Nope. Am I calling him a Nazi? Nope. Am I calling anything? I'm not calling him anything. I'm just calling out the fact that the things that he say are contradictory. That's a contradictory statement. You know, quite brilliant is what you call a classic oxymoron. You know, where you take two contradictory things and put them in the same sentence and try to say that the same thing. You know, that's something that's used in a lot of arguments. You know, and I call them black hole arguments. You know, and what I'm getting to, here, folks, and here's the thing: what I'm getting to. C2E2, John Malin and Shane Davis and Ethan Van Scriber got basically canceled from that show or something like that. You know. And I had, like I said, I had this argument before with some people about this, right? He went, I think he went to the comic. I'm not sure if it's that one up, but he went to the comic book show, right? He went there, went to the door, and I think Mark Brooks, somebody said if he show up, you know, something's going to happen. All this. So John Mellon showed up, you know, he's being a man, he's showing up, you know, to see what's going to happen. And as soon as he got there, he was accosted by the police. You know, and as they walking, and then the police show up, and as they walking him to the front door to kick him out, John Mayer makes this statement. He said the only reason why I'm being treated this way, and I think he said it in this term, is that he voted for Trump. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, no, John, you did some other things. You went back and forth with somebody, and both of y'all was threatening combat. And the guy got there before you and made sure if you walk through those doors, not to let you win. You know? And I think that's how it went down, you know. So I'm just saying, John, it ain't because you voted for Trump. I can care less who you believe in and what you believe in. You know, it's all the shit that happened around that point. It's all the shit that happened around the point. And another thing about the table being canceled, it's basically was said in this article that I read. And I went back and I had to check on this shit, you know, because a lot of people have this thing about, they were canceled because, you know, they don't want our culture or that. But like, no, it wasn't about culture, you know, because I think Shane was going to go after them legally. And I don't even know if he actually did. I just know he doesn't talk about it no more. So he could be going after, he just don't talk about it. But I think what it was is that in their terms of service, you can't sublease your table. You can't sublease your table, right? You can't like buy a bunch of tables and then make money selling parts of the tables to other vendors, because like they said, they don't like that, you know, and they got it so you can't do that, you know. And the people who are throwing the show saw it as that, you know. I don't know how you would see it. If I have a table and my table is going to have these artists there, you know, you should be able to do it. But somehow, some way, they found a way to say he was in violation. And I think Shane may have a case, because there's no reason for those guys not to have went to that show. No reason, other than the fact they just didn't want them there, you know. And they could not say that they didn't want them there because of their beliefs, because that's illegal right there. You can't shun somebody. No, that's a civil case. That's a civil multi-million-dollar case right there, you know. And that could cause damages to Shane, because he's the one who bought the table. He didn't buy a table at that show because he was trying to make a stand. He brought a table at that show so he can sell his product. And if they sit back and say that, you know, we don't want him, I mean, and that's the thing about this shit. Like, they basically was saying, you know, from what I understand, that he wants to get terms of service with the subleasing of his spot, which was just fucking stupid, you know. What Shane should have did is, like, when he applied for the table, he should have put Ethan's name on the table, and he should have put John Malin's name on the table, so they wouldn't have a reason to kick them out. And the only reason to kick them out is because of what they believe in. You see what I'm saying? If he would have did it that way and then they still kicked them out, well, then he had a case, right? They're discriminating against me because of what I believe in or who I voted for. But they didn't do that. I think the whole thing was they knew that Ethan and John Malin wasn't welcome to come to that show. And they were trying to get around it by getting Shane to get the table, and they were going to come in on Shane's table. but they didn't see it as that. And when they found out that they were coming, they was probably scrambling through all the terms of service to see how we're gonna get these motherfuckers out of here. And it's like, aha, look at this. He's subleasing his table out to these guys. So they found a way to get him out of there. They found a way to get him out of there. But in my opinion, you know, I think they didn't let them in because of who they are and what they do, which is wrong. I'm totally against that. But then again, they should have been a little bit smarter getting those tables. It's one thing if it was known that the people who throw these events don't want Ethan or they don't want John Malin at their shows, any show that they throw. That's one thing. And to know that these people don't know it, that's another thing. So because they know this, they tried to be slick and tried to sneak them in by having Shane get the table and have them come and sit at Shane's table. You know, unbeknownst. Unbeknownst. And when they found out that Ethan was going to be at the table along with John Malin, they was like, oh, they're trying to pull a fast one. Well, we can pull one faster because we have this thing called the terms of service. Hey, Autumn, how's it going? You know, it was like we got the terms of service here, and that trumps any bullshit they're trying to do. See, he came into our show trying to sneak people into our show that we don't want at our show, and they think we're going to stand for this. No, we're gonna cancel this shit and give him back his money, and that's what they basically did. And the only reason they found out is because they were talking about it. They were talking about, we're going to be at C2E2. We're going to be there. We're going to do. I mean, you shouldn't have said nothing. You shouldn't have said nothing. You just should have y'all just should have not said nothing, you know, and just waited for the show to get here, pop up at the show, sit behind the table, you know, and that was that. But that didn't happen. You guys were advertising it and telling everybody you're going to be there. And you know, you not only do people who like you watch you, but your haters watch you too. And your haters are going to go out their way to keep you from going to any show. You know, that's why you guys don't do shows, you know, which is understandable because, you know, it's totally understandable. But yeah, that's an oxymoron. And there's some other stuff I found out. I found out, I mean, that the whole thing about him talking about Jews. I mean, if you look at his statement about what he said about, you know, Jews and Nazis and shit like that, you know, he's comparing the X-Men to the persecution of how Hitler did the Jews, right? I mean, that's what his statement is basically saying. And he's saying that they were actually fighting against, they were fighting for freedom against the ideologues and they were getting silence and shit like that. And weaponizing hate and racism against the people they claim they are the root societal ills. SJWs are not Nazis, but the Nazis are SJWs, you know. And what it is that he sat back and said one thing, but meant it in the next thing, you know. It's either yes or no or yes, you know. It can't be both, you know. But the term is easily identifiable. So after he said this stuff, you know, a lot of other stuff came out saying John Malin is alt-right and all this shit. I don't believe John Malin is alt-right. I don't really believe John Malin is a racist. He does too much shit for me to sit back and say, hey, dude's racist. I just think he just speaks his mind. I just think he has a knack of saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's what I believe, you know, but other people will say different. You know, and I think his wording of these phrases here are a fucking issue. You know, John Malin, he voted for Obama. You know, at one time in his life, he wasn't like this, how he is now. He wasn't like this the way he was. Something changed him. Something deep down in him changed him, which made him the person that he is today. You know, and I don't know what that was. You know, maybe he'll talk about it one day. I don't know. But I think the things that he say are not meant to be taken as they are. You know, I think he's a blunt guy who speaks his mind, who puts his soul into his work, and he has a right to make a living for himself without people coming along and saying you can't make a living for yourself because we're going to cancel you from everything. You know, I think the situation that he's in, where he claims that he's canceled and he can't work for nobody, I think that's a far of a stretch. I think if he really wanted to go out and work in the industry again, just like the rest of those guys who are Comicsgate guys, if they want to go back and work on their favorite comic book or whatever, I think they probably could. But the problem is that they're going to have to change a couple of things. They're going to have to learn not to be themselves in order to do so. And I know that's a strong, long stretch, you know. But I think, and like I said, folks, this is all opinion. This is just my daily routine with opinion about, and I think this is my first time talking about these guys like this, you know, because every time you say these guys' names, especially when you're dealing with people like Mike Wheeler's and Mindy Wheeler and Obi and all these guys, they have hate for these people, you know. And I'm like, can we all just get along? You know, you guys are in this space. The indie space is not just for CG and whatever the Wheeler's doing, whatever you're doing. The independent space is for everyone, whether you're promoted by Comicsgate or whoever. It's for everyone. You know, you can be just as successful not using Comicsgate versus using Comicsgate. It's just how you produce your product, how you market yourself. You know, there wouldn't be a Rippaverse if Rippaverse didn't sit back and market the shit out of himself. So that's the thing. You know, we need to get serious about the shit that goes on over here, folks. We really do. We really need to look at each other and try to be more reasonable and think about what we say and what we do, because what you say and it's like this hasn't gotten through to a lot of people, is that what you say can and will be held against you. You know, whether it's in a court of law or in public opinion. You know, public opinion is what's killing Tesla right now. You know, people have basically almost just about stopped buying his shit because of what he's done. There are consequences, folks. There are real consequences of doing stupid shit. And if you can't understand, you can't learn from your mistakes, whether you're going to constantly repeat the stupid shit. If I did something or said something that offended somebody, I would do everything I can to make it right. You know, and that's what we have to do. We have to understand that we are human. We make mistakes, and we shouldn't be so broad-headed as to own up and try to clarify and clarify our stances and who and what I believe in or what you believe in. You know, I get what John Malin was saying right here in this post. You know, this post doesn't make him alt-right. It just makes him comparing the wrong things. You know, and let's be honest, at the time this came out, Marvel was sucking ass. Marvel was turning like all the characters gay. They were putting out really bad stuff. They were making comic books in the mainstream just unreadable. Just unreadable. They were putting people on books because of the fucking color of the skin. They were doing this heavy DEI shit there, which just made no sense whatsoever. He was around that time. He experienced that shit firsthand. He saw the stupid shit that was going on, and he was basically speaking to that stupid shit. He was seeing the books failing, not becoming unreadable. He was seeing that shit. He was just speaking how he felt, you know, especially when somebody makes the comic like, aren't the X-Men literally social justice warriors? And I don't forget, at the same time this shit was going on with him, you had the stuff with that chick from Star Wars, the fact she's fat now. You had her going through her things, like she said something, she got fired, whatever, and everybody like cancel culture. And then Elon Musk stepped in, and you know how Elon Musk is. You know, if If it's something, if it's something that has to do with the color of a white person's skin, he's down for it. You know. So Elon Musk is putting his money behind this girl. I don't know what happened to that case because it sort of kind of disappeared. I haven't seen no updates from her. I know I am like following her, so I haven't seen no updates from her or anything about the case. I don't know if she's winning. I don't know if she's losing. I don't know. You know, I have not checked in a while, so maybe I'll breeze by her Twitter and see what's going on with that. But yeah, I mean, all this stuff was happening. All this this tolerance shit was happening, and once again, back then when they were canceling people, I spoke up against it. I was like, no, you shouldn't get together with a group of people and try to get somebody canceled. And I think if you read on with this article here, let me show you the article again. Oops. I think this is it, right? Yeah, this is it. All right. So if you read on with this article, I think they show other. No, it's not this one. It must be the other one. But if you read the article, you will actually see people on Twitter sending posts to Marvel, and it's a bunch of these. I mean, I don't know who the fuck these people are, but they're telling them to basically fire John Malin because of something he said on his personal account. To somebody asks him a question and he's trying to like answer him back. You know, I don't know if this what got him canceled. I don't know because he's saying he got canceled. I'm not too sure because like I said, I can't find a lot of shit, but maybe there's some more stuff people can point me to that I haven't found. But I spent like an hour researching this stuff and trying to find out, you know, where at what point did the shit start to hit the fan for Mr. Malin here. And I started to see like he make this comment. And then he was going back and forth with the guy Bleeding Cool saying about, you know, he did a hit piece and all this shit. And then you start seeing a post of people like sending to Marvel saying, what's going on with Marvel? Why are you letting this guy post this shit? Blah, blah, blah. And it was like a whole bunch of people just got together and put pressure on Marvel. Now, I don't know if that's why he got fired. I don't know. Or why he got let loose off the book. I don't know. You know, right now it's all about whatever John says, you know, whatever John says, whatever. Because right now John says, like, you know, he brings something. He's like, he got canceled because he, you know, voiced his opinion, and I don't believe in that. You know, he should be able to voice his opinion and still have a job. You know, but like I said, companies have rules, corporations have rules, and if you're on their platform and you're working for them, and you say something that goes against what they believe in, what the company stands for, they will get rid of you. And they will say, because they always have a clause in your contract about your behavior while you're working here. It's always that you always have that clause, because that clause is there for if you do something heinous. And it's basically made for people who do heinous shit outside of the workplace. And the first place these people are going to say, man, he did that? Where he work at? And those are people going to catch hell for having you work there, you know. So they put a lot of those clauses into the same clauses you'll see in your contract to work for somebody, the same clauses you're going to see when you go to Indiegogo or if you go to Kickstarter. You're going to see the same clauses there. So the type of behavior, whatever went on that got him X'd from Marvel with the X books and stuff and probably put him to the outskirts, was probably the same. I mean, I'm just going off of past behavior. It's probably the same behavior that got him in this book Jawbreakers canceled from Kickstarter, you know. So that's just I mean, I know this is old shit, but after seeing that, I mean, that whole thing with Dan Fraga and him saying he's boycotting Kickstarter and all that stuff, and what Dan Fraga was saying was pretty on spot, you know. It's why be against it? There's another venue to make money, which is true. Why would you only just publish your shit through Indiegogo? If there's more places I can put my shit to sell it, I'm gonna do it. That's like only putting my comic books in Walmart when there's a Barnes and Noble, there's a Target, there's a they ain't a Kmart, but you get what I'm saying. Why would I want to do that to myself? That's just limiting my reach. That's just limiting how much money I can be pulling in. You know, I know I could probably make millions doing this, but I want to make hundreds of millions doing this. And just being selective of where my shit go is not going to put money in my pocket. It's not helping me. And I think Dan Fraga was basically saying, I don't give a fuck if it doesn't help you out in your cause, but my cause is to make money and have my family survive. That's what Dan Fraga is thinking. And he has every reason to say that, every reason to do that, you know. And to say you're not going to support him, well, I don't know what to say about that, man, because you're doing exactly what they did to you. You know, I think it's to be a better person than the people who caused you pain. You should be able to support your friend. If he is your friend, you should be able to support your friend no matter what they do. If you're buddies, you're going to support them no matter what they do. You know? But I think the whole situation about what happened to you, what made you the way you are and how you act now, I think it was bullshit. I think you should have never been put off no book. I think you have every right to make a living for yourself. I think those people who sat back there and attacked you, they had no right to do that. And Marvel, I think they did too much. I mean, they should have reprimanded you, but not fired you. I think you should not have got blacklisted. I think you should go anywhere and work. This is America. You have the freedom to do what you want and work where you want, you know. But then again, you know, people, we are prosecuted based on what we do and what we say in this world. You may not get it legally, you may not get it in court, but you will get it socially. And if you're out here saying stuff that's borderline vile or vile itself, this shit will happen to you. So I'm just saying, folks, you know, going forward, be careful what you say. Going forward, you know, think about your comic book. Think about what you're going to do. Because shit comes back to you, and when it does, you're going to be lit up on fire, you know. Urinal liquor. I've never seen you before. But that's kind of interesting what you're saying here. I don't know who Urinal liquor is. Urinal liquor says John Phelan is on the rag. Phelan throws people out of comics gates for comments also. Well, you know, he shouldn't. The Kings want to make money, but they sell idealism, then clash with someone like Fraga who believes in the idealistic. Yeah. I mean, I agree with half of that. You know, I do agree with you on Dan Fraga. Idealistic lies. You know, what they believe is what they believe in. You know, and Comicsgate isn't. You don't. And I'm saying this. Please don't get me wrong, people. I'm not saying this as someone who's against Comicsgate. I'm just saying this. So, like, you don't need Comicsgate to sell your book. You need yourself. You need your ability, your talent, and yourself to sell a book. You have to. I mean, you think Ethan bringing your shit onto Trashcast and or whatever it is to say buy this guy's book, you think that's really going to help you that much? That's a crutch, my brother. You know, get out there, get your book out, sell your book. You know, and maybe down the line, like right before your campaign in, bring Ethan in. You know, or bring Ethan in on your next one. Ask him, and he's going to most likely say no. If he doesn't know you, are you going to say no? But don't look at Comicsgate to be there for you to sell your book. They support you. I give you that. There are many people over at Comicsgate that will support you. It will hurt you to join their group. Better to be in control of your own destiny. Who is this? It will hurt you to join their group. Better to be in control of your own destiny. I mean, that's your opinion, but you know. But then again, there is something in numbers, you know, and you don't necessarily. I mean, you can. I mean, as much talent there is out here, you can team up with a bunch. You can team up with other like-minded people and form your own type of thing, you know. And I think somebody was talking about that. It's like a lot of people want to do something like Comicsgate. They want to support other like-minded people who want to do, you know, same thing Comicsgate doing. but do it their way. And there's no problem with that. There's no problem with saying, like, I like the ideal comics game. Let's do it our way. I mean, I think people should consider that. Give it a bunch of like-minded artists and like, hey man, we're gonna do this. We're gonna help each other on each other's books, and we're gonna like start our own shit to invite other people once our shit gets established. That's basically what Ethan and the rest of those guys did. They had to establish themselves first. They had to establish their bases. They had to do all this shit. They had to work this shit from the ground up. So when you're going to them and asking them for anything, you're actually going to their base. That's what separates a lot of you guys from them. Is that you guys don't have a base. And you shouldn't be going after someone else's base, because they're only buying your book because someone says buy it, And I don't think that's I think that's like, I don't think that's the way I want to sell my shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's the way I want to sell my shit. I think I want to sell my shit like this. I want to market my own shit. I want to sell my shit to my own people, my own following, build my following, and do it like that. I don't need I don't need somebody to wave their magical hand and be like, buy this stuff, because that takes some legitimacy out of what I worked hard on. That takes away, like, well, I put all my work into this. It really means nothing. I need somebody to wave their magical hand and make my work something, And what kills me are the people who get mad because Ethan won't promote them. That shit's funny. I find that shit totally funny. That means you had nothing to begin with. That means you had nothing. That means you made some utter garbage that, that ain't going to sell. But if you get this guy's seal of approval, I'm going to make about, 10 grand or whatever, and put out a sloppy, shitty product that I didn't even fuck about. I mean, that's the type of shit that Ethan doesn't want to deal with no more. He knows there are some bad actors that will use him for that. And think about this: you're not using. What you're doing is you're fucking with his base when you do shit when you do dumb shit like that. You're messing with his base, because what that does is that it's like, Ethan will put his name on anything to make something sell, and Ethan doesn't want that. Ethan wants artists who are going to follow through, make their books, make quality books, and put them out for people to get on time. That's what he wants. That's what he wants to be associated with. He does not associate himself with cash grabs. He does not associate himself with bad quality books, because that reflects badly on him. And when something reflects badly on him, he voices his opinion. Eric July was really bad for Ethan, because Ethan promoted this guy, and this guy put out some horrendous garbage, and then turned on Ethan, turned on Comics Game, and now he's paying for it because his books aren't selling. Let's see. It would hurt. What else you got to say, Mr. Liquor? Look at Fraga. Sunk years into shilling for them, destroyed his reputation, and then they turned on him. I don't think they turned on him. I think what happened is I think it was more that Dan Fraga had. They said something about his friend. I think this is all about Dan Fraga saying something about their friend, and I think this is how this whole argument started. Is they said something about Dan Fraga's friend, and Dan Fraga took offense to that, and he went and said, no, he's going to talk to Shane, talk to John, and they had to me, it was a cordial conversation. They weren't like threatening each other. They were going back and forth, and Dan Fraga made some good points, and it was that part of the conversation I really didn't care about, because that's like between them. I have no say in it, but I do have a say in some of the wisdom he was saying about crowdfunding. Why go for some of the money? We can get all of it. Staying on one platform because you have a beef and you're boycotting it doesn't do me any justice. If you're boycotting it, that's you. Don't try to convince me to not make money on this platform because you don't want to. That's a choice you made. And that's what Dan Fraga was saying. And I forget who else was backing him up, but that's what Dan Fraga was saying. And Billy Tucci should have said more too. Billy Tucci's like, well, yeah, I'm getting money from everywhere. Billy Tucci's getting money from everywhere. So Bill Tucci had too much to say, but yeah, I'm getting money for everywhere. I don't give a fuck. I don't care fuck what John Madden say. I'm getting money for everywhere. I get money on Kickstarter, get money Indigo. I can make money, wipe my ass, put in the toilet. The toilet will spit money back at me. That's how much money I'm making, you know. You know, but yeah, you know, I think I started this video out by basically saying that Dan Fraga said some wise stuff. Dan Fraga is a good friend, you know, for him to sit back and stick up, to come into the arena he was in yesterday and stick up for his friend, you know, against John Malin, Shane Davis, and Ethan. That says a lot about that guy. That says a lot about Dan Fraga, you know. I don't know if he got a campaign out, but I guarantee you, I don't care if I don't ever get the book from that campaign. I will purchase his book because that type of integrity is hard to find because everybody over here backstabs each other over here all the time. I mean, like I said, if I had a cure for several stab wounds to the back, I would definitely clean up over here with that. Believe in stuff is fine. Just don't join those specific guys or use their trademark word. No, I would suggest anybody, you know, I would if you're in their circle, right? If you're in their circle and they approve of your shit, yeah, you know, go ahead and use the confiscate thing to get your books funded. But I wouldn't use if I was coming out and I wanted to if I wanted to do a confiscate book, I wouldn't put confiscate on my book because if they don't like your book, they can fuck with you, you know. And because I know Ethan owns I think Ethan owns the trademark to confiscate. I think he owns some part of confiscate, and it's up to him. You know, he's gatekeeping confiscate. He's up to him on what the confiscate name should go on. So, with that said, don't use the confiscate name. You know, you could be a confiscate affiliate, but I wouldn't use the confiscate name. You know, I would use a name for my own shit. You know, and put it on my books. You know, and make my books prosper and be good. You know. But that's taking a risk because anytime, you know, because with shit like that, if you make him mad, you know, if you make him mad or he for some reason decides to like, you know, to sue you over the use of confiscate, he can do that. He has a right to do it. So I'm wary of that. I'm wary of anything that somebody say I'm doing a confiscate book. I mean, you can cheer for confiscate. You can cheer for confiscate. You can buy confiscate books. You can do all this stuff, but I would not, as a creator, coming over to the indie scene, put confiscate on any of my books. Because if you do, you're asking for trouble. Because this place over here is so ups and down and flippy over here. You don't know. You can be walking home one day and you can get a letter from Ethan Van Schaaf saying he's going to sue you for using the confiscate logo. Because you said something about him or said something about something he knows or whatever. He can do that. He has every right to do it and he will win. I'm not going to lie. He will win. So to protect yourself, I would not do that. I know I would say I would probably mention confiscate. Like I think the people at confiscate, they helped me out with my book, but that's about all. You just acknowledge it. I would just acknowledge confiscate. But I would not ever say this is a confiscate book or put their logo anywhere on my book because you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. You know, you really don't. And that's just my whole take on it. You know, since I've been over here. I've been over here for April will be a whole, I think April or May will be a whole year since I've been over here observing confiscate, you know, and I really got into confiscate because I was going on all the shows and stuff like that and making friends, making enemies, whatever, you know. And it's really hard. It's really hard to come over here and not piss off somebody. It's very hard to come over here and try to be yourself and try to be. It's real hard because people are ready to insult you at a drop of the fucking dime. People are ready to make memes of you at a drop of the dime. People are ready to do anything to create any entertainment off of you in this indie space. Anything. And people ask me about Comicsgate, like, hey man, do you think I should go to Comicsgate? I say, yeah, go to Comicsgate. Meet up with the people who are going to actually do what they say, which means is promote you. Because there are a lot of people who will use you to get back at other people. All right, there are people over here that will use you in a way that you will have a whole handful of enemies before you get your first book done. You have to watch out for those folks. You know, you have to be cautious about these people. And this is just my experience of being over here. Now I got a long ways to learn more about Comicsgate, but the stuff I'm seeing, you can come over here and you can, if you can navigate the stupid shit over here at Comicsgate or this indie space over here, you can be successful. But you have to get over here and find out who to talk to, who can be trusted, and who can't be trusted. Because like I said, this is a lot of people, a lot of different personalities, and some people are right when they say Comicsgate is not a place for creators. So some people are right in some cases, and some people are wrong. I think Comicsgate, once Comicsgate finally get their act together, I think this will be a great place for people to come and find a normalcy and be with other creators, you know. But what they're doing is Comicsgate is nothing you can't do on your own with other people. That's something else people need to realize. The same thing to a Comicsgate, you can run off with 5 other guys and do the same thing. It's all about product. Eric July did it. He made millions until recently. The thing about it is that you can't give people shit. You can't sit back and produce shit and give it to people and then market yourself as the greatest guy in the world who's going to walk over the graves of indie comics and the mainstream when you're barely making it. Now, don't brag on what you made, brag on what you got. Right now, you're getting less every day, dude. Eric, you're getting less every day. And one of the things, Eric, you know, since I really talk about him, stop letting Raleigh get to you, man. I mean, Raleigh has made it a sport. It's a fucking sport now for Raleigh. He doesn't even have to really do too much now for you to respond to him. He makes videos, posts. He's making money off of you, and he's only making money off of you because you allow him to. Think about it, Eric. Think about all the energy you put into making that 20-minute, 30-minute video. Think about all the work you did in that fucking like manifesto post you made the other day. Obviously, I don't care if you got a subpoena. I don't care. Let them post the subpoena of you having to come to court and you never showed up, but let them do it. You talking about it ain't going to stop them. They're going to post more. The more you talk and try to retell history, the worse it's going to get for you, brother. All right. I don't really talk high of you, but I'm just saying, Eric, worry about your books. Worry about your content. Try to make your content better. The only way to shut up and this is one thing I never heard from your mouth, Eric. The only way to shut up your haters is to be successful. I'll repeat again. The only way to shut up your haters is to be successful. Eric, you're at a place where you can be so successful right now, but the problem is you keep on hinging on the words of what people say instead of hinging on what makes you different from Comicsgate. What makes you different? Get your niche back. Get your people back, Eric. Make better books. People want you to make better books. They don't want you to disappear. They're not hating on. They don't want your company to implode and you be out in the street homeless. They want you to make a better product. This whole thing about you is about making a better product. Make a better product. You know, stop going for the lowest of the low, dude. I mean, yeah, every book I've seen of yours, man, has just been bad. All of them. So just work on your shit, man. Well, anyway, folks, I think that does it for me for today. I think I went over just about everything I want to talk about. You know, once again, this is all my opinion. You know, this is my opinion, and it can't be corrected. I did go over some things today that were basically set in stone. You know, things I had to talk about. Get my opinion. I get my opinion on everything. Everything from a lot of stuff that John Mellon has said, a lot of stuff Dan Fraga said, a lot of stuff Ethan Mescraft said, a lot of stuff that I've experienced, a lot of stuff. And the reason why I talk about this stuff is because this stuff needs to be talked about. Nobody in Comicsgate will not get down into this shit and talk about this shit. Nobody in the indie scene doesn't want to talk about somebody's shit stinking out here. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to say, oh, these guys are great. They do all this stuff. Yeah, they are. They're a great, exceptional artist. But then again, You have to look, folks. You have to look at what's being said. You got to look at everything. Don't sit back and take everything at face value. Don't question authority. Be a rebel. You know, try to keep everything. Try to keep your shit honest. Because I'm just being honest about this whole thing about being canceled and all this other shit. And there's always a reason somebody gets to this point. There's always something, And my whole thing, the reason why I went through this whole thing with John Maynard is to find out, why he's boycotting Kickstarter and he's trying to talk to Dan and tell Dan, well, I'm not going to support you if you go up to Kickstarter. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, so why won't you do it? He's your friend. You support them. Support for a friend should go beyond your belief, right? If you care for your friend, you care for how he's doing, you will support him whether he's doing something against your will or not. I have many friends I had to support that way. It's like, okay, I'll support you, man, but I don't agree with it. But that's just the way shit works over here, man. It's a weird niche spot, And I hope everybody got something out of my talk. I know it's a long talk, but and I doubt anybody EFAPs this bullshit, but I think somebody's trying to post something. I don't know. But that's just the way I feel, folks. This is your boy One Gun. And this is your boy One Gun. I'm getting out of here. And it's your boy One Gun. I'll see you guys in the future. I hope you guys have a pleasant, wonderful, adventurous, advantageous, expialidocious day, because I'm getting out of here. I'm going to try to I'm trying to get up in the morning and start doing a animation. I'm going to get back to my animation stream soon. I've just been taking a couple days off because my schedule around has been kind of hectic. So tomorrow I want to get up and do an actual animation stream. Monday, I was to have I was going to do a show Monday. I was going to do a show Monday night. And what happened is that I got in contact with a friend because I was trying to get I had somebody come on my show, and the thing about it is the guy who's on my show appeared on somebody else's show, and I'm like, damn it. He's like, okay, so I mean I can't sit back and have him come on my show the next day. I was like, well, maybe I can do this. So I called my friend up, and I'm trying to book people that nobody over here has booked on their show. So I'm trying to get some celebrities to come on my show, and I'm working on a new show. I'm working on a new channel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stream on my other new channel. Well, it's not a new channel, but I'm going to stream on my other channel, but I'm going to dual stream to this channel as well. So that's my plan. But what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get industry people to come on my show, and I'm working hard to make the show happen. It's probably going to take a little long. I thought I could do this shit, snap my fingers, call my friend up and say, hey, man, you can help me out. I did. I went to my friend. I really don't ask him for anything, but I'm it's he's I didn't ask him for money. I mean, I ain't asking for no money. I just want for you to help me get my show off the ground. So I got an idea for a positive spin on all the bullshit shows that are going on. And I want to do my own version of what everybody else is doing, but I want to do it with positive people in the industry, people who aren't shunned by the industry. I want to do it on people who know what the fuck they're talking about. So I'm in talks right now with people who have gotten a animated film fundraised, and a lot of production has went to this thing. And I'm trying to get these guys. I'm trying to get these. I'm working on it. So I told the guy that I was gonna have Monday. It's I'm gonna reschedule and have him come on that show. So when I do that show, I'm gonna have him come on that show. So I'm trying to book people that I know possibly the other people can't book. The guy who's gonna have on Monday, they can get him. All right. I was like, okay, that's fine. I said, how about this? I'm gonna cancel my show and then try to aim higher. So I'm in talks right now to getting these people on my show, and I guarantee you, nobody will be able to get these people but me. And I'm hoping today I can contact the guy. But I've been working on this for like 2 days now. I'm like, I want to make a good show. I'll make a show that I know people, and I can get these people on my show. The thing about it is like I've been out of the I've been out the loop for a while, so I have to go through people to get to people, and so far it's kind of working. So once I get this team of people on my show, they're going to talk about their animated film. They're going to talk about how they got the money, how they got invested. They're going to talk about hopefully I can get them to talk about because they were on TV. They were on TV, talk about real TV, and they're pretty known people, and they were able to they make comics. They make comics too, so they actually were able to get the funds together to make an animated movie. The movie looks amazing. It's an anime, and it looks really good. My friend is the producer on the project. He's producing the project. My friend produced stuff for Affleck. He worked with Nas. He's worked with a lot of celebrities and shit like that. So I'm gonna see if I could tap his pool to see if I can get some of these people to come on my show. But like I said, this is like something that has to be worked. It ain't like it is over here. It ain't like how it is over here, where I could just like send a message to somebody and this is very different. And I'm trying to do this because I have no money to pay these people. I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to make this like 15 minutes of your time, whatever they can spare. I'm going to try to do it. So if somebody say they're available to do a live stream with me 2 o'clock in the morning, I guarantee I'll be doing a stream 2 o'clock in the morning if that's when they're available. So I'm working on it now, folks. So I don't know when it's going to be done, but the word is out, and I'm trying to do a new type of show. I'm trying to do something that does that. I'm trying to do a show that doesn't talk about bullshit, that doesn't talk about the culture war, that doesn't talk about woke shit, that doesn't talk about what you should give me super chats for to see, and I'll make a show about why you should not see it. No, if I would never ask anybody for money to go and see a movie for them. Never. So I'm trying to make a cordial show, a show where there is no stupid shit going on, and that's the problem with a lot of these shows. Too much stupid shit going on these shows. Too much stupid shit. And I'm gonna try my best to separate myself from that when I open up my new channel. When I get this channel, but the channel's already here. I just got to work on building it back up. I think at one point last time I posted on that channel was like 6 months ago. So I have 2 channels. 2 extra channels that I use. One's a backup for this channel, and the other one is just another channel that I had good intentions for, but I just couldn't keep up with it. But yeah, folks, I'm working on it, and hopefully I can make something entertaining because a lot of this shit out here is just unnecessary. There's no cordial shit going on, and I want a cordial show. I want to talk about I want to talk to creators. I want to talk to artists. I want to talk to people who do what I do. I want to do all that stuff. I want to do it without the other bullshit, the shock. I want to do this shit without shock value. I want to do an actual talk show, an actual real podcast. And if you look at how like really good podcasts work, they work like this. Because it's something different. Every time you come to one of the shows, it's always something different. It's always just different people, listen to different ways of life, listen to different people's walks in life and stuff like that. And that's what my show is going to be geared to, finding out and relying on information of people who don't necessarily know about these things or don't know about this person. That's what I want. My days of like hanging out in these shows and belittling people, I think I quit that like a week or 2 ago. I said I'm done with it. I'm not doing this shit anymore. I'm going to do a good show that anybody can watch it, anybody can pick up and want to rewatch it. So I love you too, Autumn, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, folks. I got shit to work on. It's your boy One Gun. Hope you guys have a blessed day, and I will see you in the future. Peace.